One while everyone else in this survival space woke up terrified behind invisible walls. Our protagonist woke up as Minecraft Steve, carrying a full inventory on his back. A massive library of cheat mods was already queuing up inside a totally clueless system. Within hours, he farmed millions of EMC and mass-produced priceless treasures. Next, he raised the very first spiritualized manor in this entire death game. His towering gold-wired fortress completely shattered regional records the moment it locked in. Now the chat is flooded with monster sightings as the system starts screaming. Terrifying beasts are crawling up from the dark. His real test begins now. But how did this even start? Let us go back to the moment everything changed. Who was he? Where was he? He looked around a rotting, completely drafty wooden cabin. Cold wind whistled loudly through wide gaps in the timber, chilling him completely. Peering through a broken window hole, he spotted green plains, trees, and a small lake. It seemed like a good spot to settle, but just an hour ago he was home. He was playing a survival Minecraft run, grinding for the infinity suit when it happened. His vision flashed white and went dark. Now he is in a parallel world. He is Steve, complete with his inventory. His parents had already passed away. And as an only child, he has no lingering ties back on Earth. He accepts he likely died of overwork. His new plan, find a quiet village. He just wanted to enjoy his cheat powers, but his vision blurred again. Mysterious hum from the sky welcomed him, flooding his mind with rules. The mighty heavenly Tao has snatched up every living creature across the globe. Spaces held 1 to 3 humans, depending strictly on their survival capability. Meanwhile, weak insects got crammed in by the dozens, if a companion dies. The environment decays, and attacking others brings instant, terrifying punishment. Every zone was split into a familiar interior and a hostile exterior. For humans, that meant peaceful lakes inside and a lethal desert waiting outside. Everything is scaled to body size to keep things fair. He is thankful to get a solo run instead of babysitting an infant or an elderly partner. The other rules can wait. He immediately calls up the global chat channel. A glowing screen flares to life. Every player only gets one daily message. Yet the feed is scrolling faster than any top live stream, automatically translated for him. Most of it is utter nonsense, since 99% of creatures lack intelligence. The massive carbon-based chat channel is a complete mess, so he filters it. He immediately locks it onto Category 15, targeting creatures living in his temperature range. Humans belong in this bracket, comfortable at around 296 Kelvin. That is roughly 23 degrees Celsius. Other channels are just too chaotic. Those streams are totally flooded, leaving only the regional channel readable. Category 15 is for highly smart beings. In their specific region, exactly 999 survived out of 1,000. That single casualty likely spawned on the brink of death, ruining their partner's run. That means 500 separate zones holding various races, all completely terrified. Most are silent, but a 60% werewolf boasts about becoming a god. 90% frogman cries for its mother, while a dark elf prays. A 20% cat person meows miserably, whining about not knowing how to fish. Then the arrogant werewolf starts barking orders at all the weaker races. He submits with anonymous defaults. He sends his own message, just wait. Lift high life's banner, walk together now toward shared prosperity. Fight tirelessly toward a community with a shared future for every single living being. A perfectly harmonious society. Fenrir Lycaon, a werewolf, suddenly responds, calling him selfless and promising the wolf god's blessing, while a cat person asks if humans are truly those legendary perfect creatures, the hairless ones. He admits they still have some hair. Flipping through the race list, he notices he seems to be the only human around. Some entries combine 17 Earth animal traits with 3 impossible ones, making him suspect something is off. Not really anonymous, he closes the chat and calls up his character sheet, name Steve, race human, coins 0, constitution 20 marked with a weird question mark, agility 10, strength 10, the panel notes that the human average is 10, while the cosmic average is 15, no. 0 skills, 0 titles, his Steve constitution has clearly bent reality. Hands that can punch obsidian apart, yet arrows can kill him, his inventory. Carries absurd weight without snapping trees on contact, that massive constitution. Doubles the human average, matching his health, if that cosmic average is calculated across raw individual counts, then tiny swarming creatures must be out there. Staggering in number, making the strongest beings in this universe completely unspeakable. He looks at the trees outside, feels like a completely fresh save. His parents named him Steve, just like the Minecraft protagonist, at 5 years. His older cousin dragged him into the game, and he's lived inside it for 15 years. Fluent in speedruns, technical builds, complex redstone game commands, and never houses. Still, the absolute first step to wealth is punching trees. His divine Steve body is more elegant than any sacred interface. Health, hunger, saturation, body temperature, and inventory live in his mind, never. In his sight, those 10 hearts have 0 cracks, meaning survival mode, which he might actually respawn. Still, no way he's testing that. A pro clears the game on a single life. Dressed in that classic blue shirt, he stands under massive tree, half a meter wide and 30 meters tall, and swings his fist. Cracks appear. It's slow because of the felling mod, a whole minute. Later, the trunk topples with a soft thud onto other trees. 10 seconds. Later, it vanishes into a pile of drops. 20 eucalyptus logs, 4 saplings, 16 sticks, and 4 cosmic coins. These floating drops are miniature, with no collision, and slide right into his inventory. Those cosmic coins register as numbers on his screen interface. The one he pulls out is coin-sized, featuring a dark background, flecked with colored spots like a miniature cosmos. He digs under the roots where a cubic meter hole opens with his bare hands. Rooted dirt drops right into his inventory. Classic item. Punching ordinary dirt classifies it as a separate item, and when he places the rooted dirt back, letting the roots reconnect. Classification and restoration, both are completely on brand for Steve. He crafts 2 crafting tables and sets one down, a full cubic meter of grain-perfect wood, without a single splinter, scraping only when he digs his nails in, healing when he stops. So Minecraft blocks can be destroyed but never dismantled, while ordinary soil obeys regular physics. He right-clicks the table with a wave, opening the 3x3 grid. Floats up as he crafts a wooden pickaxe and a wooden shovel. The system announces his first wood advancement and awards 3 mod points. He hops toward a small hill. His main weakness is speed, roughly 7 or 8 meters a second, which is fine but looks ridiculous. The hill's soil is thin. His shovel lifts 2 muddy clumps like snowballs, and solid stone quickly appears underneath. With a few swings, a block drops. 3 cobblestones later, his wooden pickaxe is down to 3 durability, so he crafts a stone tool, keeping the wood for fuel instead of littering. This stone tool is much faster, 20 odd blocks net him 2 more cosmic coins. The system warns that Minecraft mining wastes random ore drops that other survivors collect, but he does not care. The regional chat mentioned a bonus starting chest sitting right beside his hut. It feels like cheating, since the first step is always punching trees, but on the way he spends a mod point on the JEI inventory system. Even after 15 years, he cannot remember how to make cake or cookies, especially with all the new recipes this survival space has added. He opens the menu and freezes. Imagine that, 320,000 pages. Swiping back blinds him with swirling rainbow particles over half-hidden items. He taps a random item, the Heart of Light, Saint-grade food, restoring 0 hunger, single use. Eating it boosts max health by 100,000. Mana and vitality by 100,000, giving absolute immunity to light. Attacks boosting power by 9,000%. The recipe requires just 1 heart, which can be converted back and forth into Minecraft form using a cosmic coin, but the menu cannot show how to find the original. Later pages list insane gear sets, light, darkness, and pollution, all boasting terrifying stats, but as names grow fancier, their power actually drops. In this world, the absolute strongest things have the simplest names. Returning to his doorstep with crafted seeds, he drops another crafting table, makes himself a quick stone axe, then heads to the chest east of his hut. He looks right at the sun bright, but thankfully he has no realistic shaders active. He arrived in the morning, but it already feels like late afternoon. Standing completely still, he watches the sun slide across the sky incredibly fast. Daylight here only lasts about 4 hours. The system panel confirms 1 hour until night, followed by 8 hours of darkness, where shadow monsters will spawn. They are not too dangerous and easily die in the light, dropping valuable loot. He is already planning massive mob farms and endless resources. Talk about easy grinding. The regional chat lights up as a dark elf complains about working at night. A cat person worries about her sleeping schedule, while Fenrir brags he is nocturnal anyway. He asks if werewolves actually transform during the night. And Fenrir replies that warriors blessed by their goddess transform with 90% extra strength. Clearly, the wolf god is very real, much like the dark elf goddess who blessed her follower, so the shadow monsters will not attack tonight. The cat person asks if humans are nocturnal, and he responds that theoretically they are not, but he can manage. Sleep to him is just a skip button. For the dark, she mentions surviving solely on grass, matches, and dried fish from her chest. The fact that gods can bless survivors here means this entire survival game might be the work of gods, a wild theory to consider. And too far-fetched to act on, Fenrir refuses to lose, announcing he will start fire. By rubbing sticks, elsewhere, a 96% bovine bellows for fire, trading away wood that he rammed loose, while a minotaur sharing the same channel offers a deal, only 20 players out of 1,000 have spoken, meaning more than half the survivors likely have no mature language at all. The mod store lists Agricraft at 10,000 points, Nothing for Nothing at 1,000, and Flashland's Fertilization at 50, because as everyone knows, if you can add mods at will, there is no survival in Minecraft. His starting chest, instead of food or fire, hands him a single sturdy stone axe at black iron grade, weighing 800 grams with sharpness 1, exactly what he needed because his main source of mod points is recycling survival items, and this black iron axe converts to 50 points. Common grade depreciates to single digits. He dumps everything into Flatulence Fertilization, the ultimate lazy man's god tier mod, leaving only 3 points. He hops to the lakeside, dropping a crafting table. Crafting 2 furnaces, a stone shovel, and a hoe, he sprints to the desert and shovels 63 blocks of sand. No trees grow at the oasis edge, so left alone the land desertifies, but once he gets nothing from nothing, he can convert desert directly to soil. Back at the lake, he breaks the last 14 eucalyptus logs into planks for fuel, then smelts all 63 sand for 63 glass blocks. The ground will not heal, so he shovels the topsoil off and slaps it back, leveling the patch instantly. Then he tills the farmland, planting wheat seeds and a eucalyptus sapling converted to its Minecraft form, and jogs the rows. Green particles cascade up, wheat ripening in a blink, while the eucalyptus rockets to a meter wide and dozens of meters tall. Under Minecraft assimilation, this eucalyptus drops absolutely absurd quantities, yielding well over a stack from a single tree. He harvests, fells, and replants in the same hole. Since this version has no roots, then he stuffs the furnaces with planks, smelting glass and boiling water in bottles he crafts. As the sky darkens, he smelts charcoal to craft 4 torches. The one in his hand casts a soft glow 10 meters out. Beyond the perimeter, shadows flicker, none bigger than his fist, none crossing into the lit zone. The regional channel has detonated, with players begging for fire and wood, trading whatever junk fell out of their starter chests. He does not lack wood, but a raw cubic meter of planks does not sell as is, so he checks the mod list for plank deconstruction for 3 points, spending himself down to 0. Each plank breaks into 25 wood units, so a cubic meter of logs equals 100. Logically, anyone with wood and fire survives the night. But plenty are still desperate, and honestly, who would turn down easy cash with no exchange rate? He prices based on desperation, 1 coin for 5 wood, or 1 for 20. Squeezing out every coin and trade item possible. Anonymous trades hide the sellers race, so he makes his cash in peace. Channels 14, 15, and 16 all ask for wood, soil, and sand too. The survival space restricts certain items per race, so soil and sand stay tradable for humans, even as other races dump strain weapons useless to him, which he converts into mod points. Almost nobody else sells wood, not even the tree-ramming cow guy, probably because the oasis is finite and he will not overexploit it. The chat fills with monster reports of creatures crawling up from underground. A grateful cat person. They clearly dread light. Fenrir gleefully smacks bugs that only drop cosmic coins. The pests cannot pierce Fenrir's thick fur, while the dark elf is entirely immune. Fenrir confirms there are no other drops, 100 smacked for just 12 coins. Without decent loot, he stops hunting. 20 stacks of logs later, orders finally slow down. His status panel reads 6,543 cosmic coins. He also bags 5 iron ore, 5 copper, 1 gold, 1 spirit stone, and 1 thunder element crystal. The ores do not convert, but this crystal and spirit stone seem incredibly useful, so he keeps them. His mod points sit at 1250. No more playing house. He spends 1,000 points on nothing for nothing. That is his skyblock backbone, leaving 250. He smelts 3 raw irons. Crafts a stone crook and runs to hook leaves from the canopy, pulling silkworms and seeding them through the leaves. Circling the grove, he spots a unique tree, ridiculously short, barely 4 meters tall with bursting flower buds. He does not recognize it but chops it down anyway, and the system rewards him with 1 apple log, a sapling, and 1 cosmic coin, an apple tree. His eyes light up. This better not be like vanilla oak where an entire tree drops absolutely nothing. He heads to the stone mountain, mining a stack of cobblestone. When he returns, the leaves have turned entirely white. It is a classic Minecraft organism, a literal biological invasion in real time. The vein miner, costing 250 points, cleans him out, but building tedious scaffolding to reach those towering canopies is a massive waste of precious time. The grove quickly collapses into bare logs, dropping 7 stacks of eucalyptus saplings, 5 stacks of string plus 21, 4 stacks of silkworms, and 375 cosmic coins. This farming rate is clearly boosted by silkworms and string. He bites into some bread, shovels another stack of sand, and heads back. Eating can be done the slow, bland way or the classic Minecraft way, crunching as food bypasses his mouth entirely without any taste. Honestly, that fast crunch wins every time. With his inventory nearly full, he crafts a chest to dump saplings, string, silkworms, and extra tools aside. Next, he smelts and forges an iron bucket, scoops lake water, and converts it into a standard Minecraft bucket in his inventory. He digs a 2x2 pit, pours it, and repeats for infinite water. He crafts a barrel, fills it, hammers sand into dust, and drops it in for clay. He breaks the block for clay balls, crafts wooden slabs for a composter, and turns extra saplings and seeds into wheat compost for bone meal. Next is an unfired crucible, which he bakes in the furnace. Placing a torch underneath, he suspends the crucible, drops in cobblestone, and walks away to wait for lava. Meanwhile, he digs a cobblestone generator, 64 meters long, toward the desert. The vein miner cap and this trench yield over 3 stacks of dirt and sand. While working, he notices a strange change in his body. He can step straight out of a deep pit, easily clearing a drop the height of his legs. He still needs wood for sieves, so he tries growing 4 eucalyptus saplings together, planting them in a 2x2 grid while dancing beside them. Suddenly, a massive trunk, 2 meters wide, completely blocks his view, its towering canopy lost in the dark night. Getting his bearings, he swings his stone axe, hacking away for a full minute before the massive tree crashes heavily down onto the desert sands. With a thunderous crash, throwing a massive dust cloud straight into his face, his body does not get dirty and the dust does not enter his lungs, but the sensation is still annoying, and he spits at the air on principle. The tree yields 7 stacks of eucalyptus logs and 12 more, 64 plus 58 saplings, 3 stacks of sticks plus 61 and 109 cosmic coins. That is 7 stacks from a trunk over 100 meters tall. The giant thing had no roots either. It probably crushed some monsters underneath, but he cannot be bothered to check. The coin drops will still be there next time he passes. Back at the lake, he crafts 25 sieve frames in a 5x5 grid, meshing them with string, then sieves a single batch of dirt for seed variety, holding off until the cobblestone generator is finished. The regional chat is quiet while he drops only the occasional stone block into the melting crucible. He browses the mod shop. Apple skin animation overhaul and model optimization sit at just 1 point each. Sodium, zinc, and rubidium cost 10 points apiece, useless to guess without buying them. The store carries only a few hundred mods out of tens of thousands. And the truly broken cheat mods, like block trading or mob milking, are totally absent, which is a massive shame. Every entry has been enhanced and optimized into a single, highly compatible version, so nothing from nothing has only 1 entry, no heritage or creatio or ars getitio here. Game balance is unknown until he actually runs it. Scrolling, he sees some old friends: the mutation, prion viral fungal infection, flood, skulk infection, abyssal flesh, and necromantic roots, all costing several hundred points each. The ring of 7 curses is cheap at 10 points, a future toy when he is invincible. Further down, Project E, Avaricia, and Better Cutting Board, the free mods of Divine Authority, where grinding alone makes you invincible, are tagged at a 1, followed by 8 zeros, and those are not even the most expensive options. the most expensive entry at 10 billion mod points is labeled simply menu. 2. Massive possibilities exist. Save and quit to title screen, which might let him leave this. Survival space or open to local area network, which any veteran knows toggles. Creative mode on a save when cheats are turned off. A simple time stop menu. Is trivial in comparison. He tries /game mode creative /game mode. 1 game mode creative, every cheat incantation he knows, then dumps the line of code directly into world chat, where it immediately disappears into the noise. Power fantasy. Novels lie, let's be real, nobody is instantly invincible when they transmigrate. A black iron weapon costs 50 mod points, putting every divine tier mod in a completely different solar system. Even JI cannot tell him how many points a true divine artifact would convert into, but a single artifact could fund creative mode. It is far away from him right now, so he just farms, scooping lava and pouring it bucket by bucket into the trench for 64 blocks. He needs 64 buckets of water and 13 of lava, because the flow physics differ. Water is easy after rigging up 5 or 6 infinite sources. Lava is tight, so he runs a half-finished pit for now, with the body temperature. Mod on lava registers as insanely hot, so he digs a hole at his feet, drops a water source, and stands inside it. He mines 2 stacks of cobblestone, eats, and dumps his inventory into the chest except a stack of bread, crafting 18 stone hammers, bread in his left, hammer in his right. He cycles between hammering gravel and chewing. Normal. Game work speed is absolutely ludicrous in real life. 10 minutes later, all 18 hammers are broken and he has over 30 stacks of gravel, the drops bouncing real world. He lets a few resources slip right into the lava. After all, he is absolutely loaded now. A few more bucket runs and the generator pit is basically finished. Then Jai drops some news. His specific version of the Nothing from Nothing mod only needs 4 flints instead of 6. That is a massive discount. He sieved some flints earlier, but it is nowhere near enough. Even with Vein Miner clearing gravel, gathering 70+ flints by hand is painfully slow. To get what he needs, he has to sieve nearly 6 entire stacks of gravel. The sieves also yield vanilla ore fragments, which he quickly crafts and tosses into the furnace. Next, he tears out every single string mesh and upgrades them straight to flint stiffened. He completely ignores the standard advice about keeping different tiers around for lower-level drops. Why bother when he can just craft them whenever? With the flint meshes ready, he sifts. He works nonstop, crafting chests to organize his gravel and dripstone. When his bread supply dips, he fertilizes the wheat. When gravel runs low, he hammers more. The very first diamond he sieves goes straight into crafting a survival space clock. This clock follows the harsh rules of this world, where daytime only takes up 1/3 of the face. The terrifying night is barely half done, yet he grinds until every mesh is diamond stiffened. Even then, dawn is nowhere in sight. Luckily, his specific mod version is incredibly generous. It actually lets him sieve netherite scrap directly from crushed netherrack. He crafts a full set of netherite armor and slips it on without any discomfort. Oddly, there is no visual change. He still looks like Steve in his classic blue jeans. His casual shoes and short sleeves remain, offering no visual sense of safety at all. But at least his style is safe. Seriously though, the sheer scale of this grind is exhausting. Normal play would yield full enchanted gear in a week, but he is grinding 12 hours a day. Even with powerful mods active, the progress feels agonizingly slow compared to the effort. He puts in 12 solid hours, yet it still takes nearly 8 to reach diamond tier. It is an exhausting pace. He has the materials for a nether portal, but hesitates. Real gods rule this realm, and the nether under this world's influence could be pure suicide. He decides he needs some serious firepower, like an infinity suit, before even thinking about it. Right now, he is only level 25 and cannot even craft basic enchanted armor yet. As the brutal night drags on, another chaotic trading wave suddenly hits the server. Desperate beings are running low on fuel, letting him pocket another 756 points. He can only stare longingly at experience crops costing 1,000 points each. They are far too expensive. Most buyers just want wood but offer nothing unique. So he posts an open trade offering basic ores and wood in exchange for special items. But nobody seems to understand the value of minerals yet, so his inbox stays empty. He starts to wonder if this survival space is just some buggy, unfinished simulation. What does this world actually want from him? Out of pure boredom, he heads toward the border. 200 meters into the dry desert, an invisible wall suddenly blocks his path. Beyond it, the desert stretches into infinity. Walking around reveals a tight circular boundary. The map is small. To test the vertical limits, he constructs a massive spiral staircase. He also wants to see if standard Minecraft water bucket clutch tricks actually work. He slowly increases the height, testing normal water versus Minecraft water. Normal water obeys real physics, offering zero protection, but Minecraft water is different. It works perfectly, just a tiny splash completely nullifies his fall damage. The standard 7:1 flow ratio holds true, turning a tiny splash into a wide pool. He realizes this because block placement still dictates how this bizarre world behaves. Angling and staggering blocks freely with a 10-degree tilt or 10-centimeter offset is his biggest perk. It conforms to reality, letting the stairs climb dozens of meters without hitting anything. But he stops because a bare 1-meter-wide staircase is absolutely terrifying in its own way. Height is not the issue. He moves to the desert barrier to build vertically. He stays half a meter from the edge, jumping a meter high and placing blocks. Slapping blocks right under his feet, he touches the wall every few steps, after a dozen. The wall creeps closer, just 20 centimeters away, with 14 blocks placed underneath him. Its contact point reaches 15.7 meters high. He writes down the numbers, then breaks. His blocks trusting a Minecraft water clutch, but refusing to actually gamble his life on it. Turning away from the oasis, he places a block half a meter from the wall and builds a 16-block horizontal bridge. The wall is again 20 centimeters away at the 16th block. He stands right against the barrier and vein mines a single column straight down into the sand. A pit opens with the sand staying impossibly still. Under torchlight, the air wall shows a clear curve, and the geometry of his situation finally makes sense. This invisible wall is a massive sphere centered on the oasis, spanning 400 to 500 meters. Any Minecraft player wants to know the size of their world, a dome under 1,000 blocks wide leaves barely any space for massive builds. He wonders if he can expand it later. With the first day almost over, he heads back down to the oasis to check chat. The regional chat is buzzing again. Fenrir complains about being exhausted after a long night of fighting bugs. A catkin mentions sleeping uncomfortably but getting enough rest. An elf says that the night in this place is not even 1/5 of her home planet. The cat person is shocked since her nights at home are only half this long. A member of the 96% Taurine tribe reports a terrible night. His fire died early, bugs bit him, and a minotaur who calls him. Brotherhead asks why he did not just request some fire, since he was up wandering bored all night. His race stays active for 1,000 hours and sleeps 300. That is a strange nickname. No one else seems to be sleeping or lurking. Like him, just as a sliver of light hits the horizon, the sky shakes and a massive wave of information floods in, just as he suspected this. Survival space was not the full version. The heavenly system calls the first 3 days the Anubai screening, where the first day was meant to filter out tiny bugs, bacteria, and fungi. Now the survivors will each receive a blessing from the god they worship, every single one of them. The system says, but wait, he freezes, because he has absolutely no god to worship. The god of wealth he quietly prayed to did not cross over with him. Shaking it off, he opens his panel to inspect his new divine blessing. But his status screen displays 2 lines of completely garbled gibberish showing only weird symbols. They are not even going to let him play fair, leaving him with 1 less buff than everyone else. As a gamer with active cheats, he deserves a massive bonus, but he lets it go. After all, playing Minecraft makes him completely invincible. He opens the chat to choose a nickname after the system warns everyone to use a pseudonym. Apparently, enemies can curse or attack you using your real name. He wonders how anyone would even find out his identity since calling himself Steve is already inaccurate anyway. Still, he types out 3 letters. Choosing a unique handle is simple, requiring only regional uniqueness. He opens up the mutual aid group chat built by the heavens. The top 5 rankers share a channel, while others are divided up. These other channels only allow chat, restricting trade within their group. This supposed system balance is flawed, especially for those at the bottom. Many likely lack a written language, proving this space rejects fairness. It only exists to elevate the strong, and he holds first place. His group features 10% Ratkin Jivana, 20% Katkin Meow, and Ivy, along with the werewolf Fenrir, while second place remains completely silent. He has never heard them speak, They are a nocturnal trio with bizarre names. Only Wolfie is bold enough to use his real name. Fenrir laughs immediately, asking why the leader chose that handle. He replies with a question mark, but Meow immediately disagrees. She translates his name as star diving, then suddenly snaps at Fenrir. She calls his handle a stuck fishbone, and Fenrir brings up digesting 6 stars of a rare beast in half a gulp before Ivy steps in. She notes the system is transliterating handles, making them all sound crazy. He agrees and asks the wolf why he chose his real name. The werewolf explains that Fenrir is actually the mighty wolf god of his tribe. It functions as a long surname, as his personal title is missing. Our hero shares his handle, while Meow explains her own cute name. Her name is a sacred prayer to the goddess of luck. He immediately pictures adorable cat girls praying together. Ivy says hers is simple. Meow then jokes that Jivana is 10% human and 10% rat. A mix of a perfect race and legendary filthy cat food. This makes total sense. He asks why Jivana has been silent. He wonders if her species lacks any form of written language. Shocked responses flood the chat. Jivana simply calls him a little guy. She finds it hilarious that someone so ignorant outscored her in points. Ivy gently asks which god he worships, since everyone chooses beforehand. He stammers a vague response. The actual truth is far more complicated. He was barely on Earth for 30 minutes before being summoned. He has no idea what gods humans are supposed to believe in. Ivy sighs, assuming he serves a deeply irresponsible and silent deity. Fenrir immediately tries to convert him to the wolf god of power. Meow claims luck is better, but Fenrir insists on choosing his fate. Ivy tells them to stop, suggesting the goddess of night instead. Jivana asks why he does not defend his faith. He questions her own. She is too devout to argue, so he keeps his thoughts locked away. Exposing his godless nature would mean certain death. This place feels less like a trial and more like gods playing with crickets. Every species is screened, and a faithless wildcard could be easily crushed. His only path is focusing on growth to unlock his creative mode. It is the only thing that might let him stand against gods. But even that has limits, especially against massive legendary weapons. Creative, he doesn't even know if he's running Java or Bedrock Edition, since he has. Bedrock achievement system alongside tons of Java mods, it must be some crazy fusion, with 756 mod points. He weighs his trading options. Opening the mod exchange, he notices that the slot once belonging to the JEI inventory now displays a custom mod with a different background. Completely clickable and free, he opens it with a mere thought, revealing a blank page with a familiar 9-slot crafting grid. Just visualizing a recipe displays its exchange price. He tests the transmutation table, which clocks in at 150 mod points. 50 for the Philosopher's Stone and 100 for the table. The exchange button lights up, his intent firing faster than his thoughts, and just like that, he has it. Diamond 4 redstone, 4 glowstone, he has plenty from sifting gravel, smelting 8 cobblestones. He adds obsidian and crafts 2 transmutation tables, placing 1 beside his crafting table and feeding the other back into itself. An ethereal interface floats above, showing 260 EMC in the corner. This custom mod is absurdly powerful, likely thanks to the divine blessing, or perhaps his own ability finally awakening. Either way, he will exploit it, reskinning the philosophers. Stone and table jumps the prices to 5,000 and 10,000 mod points. A 100-fold markup, making the base mod items the real bargain here. Editing the Philosopher's Stone recipe to require a dragon egg, 4 nether stars, and 4 elytra drops the cost to just 10 mod points. The custom mod follows its own equivalent exchange at work. Transmutation was fair, but the real treasures, Project E's dark matter and red matter, just for mischief. He prices a cosmic sword from 1 dirt block, count 8 zeros, ridiculous, same price as the entire Avarisha mod. He backs out fast. The 10 billion menu has save and quit and open to land listed at 7 billion each. Unbundling costs more than the bundle. Enabling cheats costs 7 billion, while creative, kill, and teleport options cost between 5 and 6 billion, but / game mode survival cannot be found at all. Meanwhile, enabling hardcore is 7 billion, and / game mode spectator is only 50,000. None of his brutal difficulty mods are active, meaning he is stuck in regular survival mode. Luckily, the respawn kind It is fitting since a hardcore death offers a return to title option he doesn't have, and let's be real, as a pro, he has no intention of dying anyway but safety. Measures are still highly necessary. Commands execute instantly with his mind, but he cannot. I pass system rules, even fusing 9 dragon eggs into a single-use survival command. Lock is far too expensive. Sitting on 606 mod points, he plans EMC farming. That basic bonsai pot costs 150,000. Dropping to 1,000 with a 9 emerald block recipe, still way too high, the haste. Torch base is 10,000, the recipe alone 500, modifying it to 1 haste torch. Using 9 emerald blocks drops that to 10 mod points, the compressed and double. Compressed versions cost 50 and 100 million, it is nothing since. Real farmers count in scientific notation anyway, pushing the speed bonus from additive to multiplicative for independent multipliers naturally jumps the price. Tenfold as expected, crafting the ultimate table with 9 emerald blocks. Costs 10 points and removing blocks won't lower it, so 10 is the absolute floor, the double. Compressed haste torch requiring 81 ultimate tables costs 1,000 mod points. With unchanged EMC, a couple hours of labor barely yields 80 million EMC. He is broke, but because those torches stack independently, he ignores the power. He configures the bonsai pot recipe to require 9 emerald blocks, modifying it. Next, he sets mature plants to auto-drop, buying it for 10 mod points. The emerald or bonsai recipe costs 300 points and refuses to drop, so he buys it anyway. Then he grabs the enhanced haste torch with 9 ultimate crafting tables for 50 points. This confirms that stronger functions raise the floor. For total automation, he needs more. He buys the equivalent upgrades Energy EMC Link for 3 emerald blocks and 10 mod points. This obscure device converts any fed items straight into EMC low tier. Works just fine because the haste torch buffs everything equally. He grabs 1 bonsai. Hot 6 emerald blocks and emerald, a hopper, 1 EMC link, and 7 haste. Torches, after digging a hole, he stacks the EMC link, hopper, and bonsai pot. No crouching needed. He drops in the emerald block and the emerald. He seals the other 5 sides with blocks so loose emeralds cannot scatter. He places haste torches at hopper height, letting optimization configure each one. Speed instantly maxes out at 4 times over. Range hits the limit, just enough to cover everything. Growth drops 2 to 3 emeralds, averaging about 1 every single second. Multiplying that by 4 to the 7th power for his 7 torches. Placed watch this, the balance joins the 10 million club. And that is not the limit, since each torch covers 9 meters in total. Real life has absolutely no block limits, allowing him to squeeze in endless torches. Just 1 minute later, his balance is already much larger. The digits climb past 37, with scientific notation tucked in the corner. The table highlights the exponent, as the God processor handles 31 digits per second easily. This means the double compressed torch is completely unnecessary. So his remaining 226 points can wait. He looks up, realizing this survival space has no moon at all. The sun rises directly from the direction of his small shelter. Calling that east means it is now north, despite setting south last night. Half the day has passed, violating every normal rule of the stars. But a god's creation can do that, since good hardware does not guarantee a good system. Next, he searches for F3 on the exchange, costing 10,000 mod points. This scouting eye displays target info, biomes, and biological stats. A standalone coordinate display costs only 10 points, so he buys it. The coordinate information appears directly in his mind without blocking vision. His position reads -62. A few quick steps confirm the origin point is indeed his shelter spawn. Directions follow typical Minecraft rules, using Y as height plus X and Z. Standing, squatting, and shifting around all alter his coordinate readouts. This proves his head acts as the central reference point. Now it is time to build. His current shelter is a damaged hut. Rated at level 0 with terrible aesthetics, it lets in cold wind. He ignores the system's snark and decides to build over it. Skipping past simple wooden huts and stone houses, he aims higher. The level 29 house requires 2,000 spirit stones to build. He needs 20,000 thunder crystals, plus fire, wind, and earth. 10,000 of each, 20 million cosmic coins, and millions of units of stone. These high-grade materials require conductive metals and flexible components. with insulating materials, boosting aesthetics by 10,000 and hygiene by 2,000. This is the highest he can build, since the next tier requires spirit crystals and techniques he lacks. Still, his transmutation table makes getting materials incredibly easy today. Also unlocked converting precious resources to cosmic coins at a brutally stingy ratio, roughly 10 kilograms of coal or diamond, 1 kilogram of copper or iron, 100 grams of silver or emerald, or 1 gram of gold to get just 1 coin worth 10 units. Diamonds are useless beyond jewelry, since hardness does not mean wear resistance. Gold is his best option, a cubic meter weighing nearly 20,000 kilograms, 20 million grams. Wood and stone must be broken below 1 unit to register, but metals go in whole. Sitting at 19 million coins, he converts another gold ingot. Feeling that classic Steve weightless dissonance in his hands, a mark of his divine body, pushing his balance past 20 million, quite the massive flex. The survival space treats 1 ingot as roughly 1 ton, exceeding all expectations. He tests the fire crystal, holding it and feeling a gentle warmth in his palm. The seller insisted it was dangerously hot to drive up the price as a heat source, but he gave double the wood without haggling, since his diamond axe chops 8 or 9 stacks in minutes, 50 or 60,000 units. The crystal feels barely warm, cooler than lava. He drops it into the crafting slot to convert it into a Minecraft item inside the transmutation table, and it yields 20,000 EMC. Slightly above an emerald, he takes a stack, crafted back with cosmic coins. In the survival space, accepts it cleanly. He clears the fire elemental crystal from the table's memory, pulls one out, and tries exchanging it for mod points, but the panel pops up a warning: items learned by a transmutation table style mod can never be exchanged. His attempt to step on his own left foot with his right and spiral into the sky failed, but hey, Minecraft completely outranks the survival space, meaning he basically outranks the gods themselves. Honestly, it is completely broken. He turns crystals into EMC. Spirit stones are 100,000 each, and other crystals are 20,000 each. Ultimately, the manor's special custom building materials cost just 1.2 billion EMC time to build, using gold, diamond, and emerald would certainly fit his status. Every player has built a diamond dirt house in their youth, but those are completely unsuited to real construction, with unknown crises approaching and with no telling if monsters can break Minecraft blocks. He decides to stick with the survival space's high-grade materials. The premium building materials factory requires spirit stones, thunder, fire, earth, wind, and various metals. He currently has no water, wood, light, or dark crystals. Water crystals handle automatic water storage and self-cleaning pools, a complete waste since Minecraft water never gets dirty anyway. Wood crystals build plant accelerating greenhouses, which his haste torch already covers nicely. Light crystals unlock an automatic healing room and attack towers, hinting at future tower defense stages. Dark crystals unlock a stealth tower to hide buildings, plus another heavy attack tower. His mod points should eventually go toward weapons and solid equipment. He plops the factory right beside him with no set layout yet. His spiritual jadeite recipe is finally unlocked. It requires 10 spirit stones and 20 units of jadeite per hour. This elite material resists corrosion and repairs itself. It cleans itself, looks beautiful, and raises hygiene with every block. The factory spins up, and he drops a double haste torch. A heavy mechanical roar quickly merges into one massive, satisfying hum. A few seconds pass. Suddenly, a block is spat out. The world falls completely silent as the jadeite block cools down. Mod point conversion fails, but the table values it at 200,090. 40 trillion for one manor. Luckily, he has enough for 26. With 216 points left, he buys ultimate stacking. This sets his stack limit above 2 billion, time to convert. A dozen gold blocks become 300 million coins. He pulls the manor materials. Suddenly, a god's eye view drops. The entire survival space lies below, with blueprint shapes shifting at his will. Only 5 main components exist. He cancels the useless parts. He turns the main house into a massive 3-story villa. It faces south, utilizing the system plan since he is no designer. He leaves a large open space behind for future farming. The paths remain unpaved. The spiritual setup runs on spirit stones. The generator sits quietly in the northwest corner. He remembers rumors from his past life about elites using gold wiring. No sane person spends a tenth of their house budget on wires. But here, gold costs less than 1 unit of basic building material. The jadeite protects the inner wiring, so no insulation is needed. Plus, pure gold wiring fits his status perfectly as it runs inside. He lets the system finish the interior without wasting a single gold ingot. 4 main gates guard the cardinal directions, alongside 4 side gates, all fully wired with electricity. The remaining materials form a wall, sinking 2 meters down and rising 5. It is 1 meter thick, enclosing a massive plot, but the layout feels wrong. So he quickly adjusts it to have a spacious 70 by 50 front yard. With a huge backyard, building a legendary dragon-slaying weapon would be easier. He blames those evil villagers who made him soft by taking him in. Now for the site selection, right in the dead center. Right in the oasis, but wait, the system says construction failed. Unknown blocks are in the way, it must be his Minecraft blocks. He dashes around, dismantling every single block to clear the space. He also tests if his crafted water bucket keeps its special physics. But when poured, the water soaks in instantly. That is a relief. Getting water later won't be a headache. Time to reconstruct the manor. He lets the system artificial intelligence pick the colors. Confirm. Construction successful. A beautiful black and gold wall blooms around him. System notifications immediately start rolling in. This is getting crazy. First shelter in the region with 1,000 hygiene. Broadcast it. Or stay completely anonymous. First he hits aesthetics at 1,000, then hygiene at 10,000, climbing higher and higher. All the way to first in hygiene at 200 million, same annoying question. His head buzzes from empty congratulations. There is no reward, so stingy. The final evaluation stamps it as basic spiritualized manner at level 29. Aesthetics get plus 200 million 10,000, and hygiene gets another massive boost. The system leaves a snarky comment that building with spiritual jadeite means he is crazy. Totally out of his mind, so he sends a group update about his incredible new shelter. Bragging up front feels necessary to trade for special items later. But nobody replies to his message because they are all busy building their own shelters. He scrolls up to see Zivana telling them to stop arguing. That shut up the Night Walker trio, who had been bragging about their unique divine blessings. Fenrir got a massive miracle boost, gaining incredible strength and endurance. Meanwhile, Meow got a luck buff, proving she is one highly favored cat girl. Her luck lets her fish endlessly for treasure. This lucky cat girl is definitely going to be his main supplier. Then there is Ivy. She knows dark magic and is already heading out to farm a monster den. But he has absolutely no clue where to find one. Zivana easily tames beasts to quickly raise livestock, but where do they come from? And honestly, nobody else is even confused. Talk about feeling left out. This total lack of common sense makes asking any questions feel incredibly awkward. He opens his settings menu to fix the notification issue. Those smart options from a god sound pretty risky. He is not risking it, so he enables everything instead. Instantly, a gentle wave of information floods his mind. A gentle whisper alerts him that Fenrir just sent a message. The wolf praises him, calling him amazing for secretly developing his power. He claims he was just testing his blessing, but Meow immediately asks which god he serves. He freezes in panic. Before he can reply, Zivana suddenly cuts in. She guesses it is some creator god. The others are left completely baffled. Zivana explains her race researched divinity. Clueless humans who grow fast fit the mold. Such insane progress usually belongs to a follower of the silent creator god. Since that god never speaks, their believers naturally lack any common sense. Pure, unstoppable power. She asks if his blessing shows up as garbled code. That would explain it, since a creator god's name is completely unspeakable. He confirms her guess. Zivano accepts it and asks him to share his abilities. After all, they are allies now. He wants to believe her but remains cautious. A transmigrator under the god's noses must tread very lightly. Still, having a creator god as a shield is a massive relief. Naming himself him is perfect, since they only look a few pixels apart. They are on the same side. He tells the group his magic is minor. He can place and break blocks and manufacture a few basic items. His real strength is paying a small price to duplicate any item. Zivana immediately asks about the restrictions on this duplicating ability. None so far, and he cannot hide it anyway since he needs special items. Feeding him rare materials charges his energy. Zivana wonders if cosmic coins will work. The cost is incredibly high, so he lets the group chat keep pinging instead. He spends 10,000 coins on level 1, then 100,000 for level 2. A brief pause, then 1 million for level 3, rising to 1 billion. He stops at level 6. After all, small favors breed gratitude, but huge ones breed resentment. Wealth should never be flaunted, since the loudest bird gets shot first. But honestly, converting coins requires putting gold blocks on the ground, and he is just too lazy for that. He drops 100 million coins into the warehouse instead. Deconstructing simple cobblestone only costs him 3 mod points. This leaves him with 203 mod points. He dumps over 2 billion wood and stone inside. He claims duplication is easy, making Fenrir go absolutely wild. The wolf warrior demands to know the price, swearing his mining could never match this duplication. He laments that as a warrior of the wolf god, he should be out fighting. Instead, he complains his blessing gave him a mine instead of a monster den. Vina chimes in, saying this is exactly what to expect from a creator god's blessing. But duplication costs nothing. While chatting, he had already built an EMC farm. He built a 10-meter glass house in the corner, packed with emeralds. The green gems are so dense it looks like an ocean, generating 26-digit EMC every second. And that is not even his peak power. He won't need flower pots anytime soon. He asks them to collect unique items he cannot duplicate. With only 203 mod points left, his current budget is simply not enough. He silently gripes that after 10 hours of hard development, he still cannot even fly. Fenrir offers up a fine iron pickaxe from his starter chest, his only special item. Vina contributes a fine iron sword, while Ivy donates 36 drops of goblin essence. She adds 6 wooden clubs, 4 staffs, and 1 elite goblin great club. She explains they just dropped and are useless to her, making his eyes light up. He is thrilled by the fantasy loot, but the next notification shows he celebrated too early. Wait, hold on, Meow drops a string of items that completely breaks the chat. She floods the shared warehouse with an endless wall of notifications. There is an expansion crystal and blueprints for an electric shock tower, plus a blueprint for spirit-powered individual combat armor. Then comes another zone expansion crystal, alongside a human language learning scroll. And an intact two-handed iron hammer. This insane volume of loot says it all. There is another true monster in this group, and Meow is proving her legendary status. He praises her god-tier luck, while Fenrir jokingly accuses her of hiding her strength. Vina asks if her starting luck is truly this insanely high as a believer of luck. Ivy admits her devotion must rival her own, though Meow humbly tries to play it down. From their chat, he picks up an important rule of this world. Piety brings blessings, leaving him wondering about his own patronless status. The crystal expands his space by 10 meters, which he saves for later. This is a decent upgrade, perfect to save for an eventual massive base build. The shock blueprint glows blue, but he refuses to waste precious mod points. Why buy tower defense when he can read it much cheaper? The spiritual armor glows purple and adapts to race, but it is useless to him. Steve's mods ensure he will never lack elite offense or defense. The zone crystal only changes the terrain without generating new resources. Unplanted dirt still erodes into desert, absolute garbage since classic Minecraft has no concept of desertification, but that bizarre human language scroll. That is the real mystery. A human records their language and knowledge into it. And any creature using it gets optimized vocal organs to speak that specific human speech, vocal accents included, it clearly reads. Their consciousness which makes him uneasy. Still, he is better off racing toward creative mode instead of worrying about gods. The rest are blue. In green weapons, Meow's lowest gear easily outclasses his own. Cheap white gear he scraped together. Time for loot division. He gets first pick since he contributed the absolute most, so he claims the scroll. So the others can learn from him. It teaches infinitely after just one record. The other 4 pass on the remaining weapons, and when he asks the wolf if he wants the combat armor, the giant replies that true warriors need absolutely no external help. He simply files that behavior under physical transcendence. Lifting the runeless heavy parchment scroll, a sudden instruction floods his mind, telling him to place his hand on it and mentally chant record. He does, bracing for darkness, but feels nothing. Then new text names it Human Steve's Language learning scroll. A sudden solemnity hits him since the magic read his mind without him even feeling it. Still, he shakes off those conspiracy theories. He is still identified as human, which works since a block man counts. Dropping the scroll back in, he asks why it specifically mentions humans, and Jivana answers that humans might be the most recently born high-level intelligent life, or maybe just a coincidence. The first option interests him because he always read. Arriving 13 billion years after the Big Bang was already a short, recent era. Absolute youngest, the other four use the magic scroll and become instantly fluent in Chinese. With English and Japanese, Meow chirps that names look totally normal now then. Notes that humans have a specific term for her race, cat girl, which she actually finds fitting. Next, she discovers humans have two genders and reacts in absolute shock, with Ivy joining her disbelief. He almost jokes about countries with over 50 genders before holding back. Meow says they believed high races reproduce asexually. Ivy adds science. Superstitions never survive this brutal survival space, and then Jivana suddenly launches what he labels scientist Jivana's mini-lecture. She explains most high-level intelligent races have only one gender due to unique divine blessings, which existed before this survival space, reshaping their habits, right down to reproduction, since each divine blessing is singular in nature, sexual. Reproduction's wild volatility blocks stable expression, driving most races to evolve into asexual reproduction. Meow recalls her grandmother saying the last male cat girl died over 2 billion years ago. Ivy adds her kind are dark magic creations of the night goddess, so only high priests can manifest offspring. Then Fenrir Lycaon casually drops that his massive race has 16 genders with different reproductive methods and offspring ratios. His wolf species is basically Mendel's absolute nightmare. Jivana mentions there should be a siege tonight, but the stone shelter and their abilities will easily handle it. Later on, they can build specialized shelters aligned with race and blessing. She has the air of a rat scholar. She belongs to the hollow kin, knowing much but sharing very little. Biologically, the parent who carries and nurses is considered the female. Even in her single-gender race, she actively patrols, converting unwanted tools directly into mod points. Her villa is fully furnished down to the pans, featuring an infinite water system, though the massive size feels incredibly empty. As evening falls, the sun sets weirdly in the south, and she steps outside. The empty yard and lifeless landscape hit her with sudden sorrow. Time for mods. Her balance is 2345. The curio slot costs 1000. She wants pure cost-effectiveness, knowing direct mechanic upgrades are terrible value. She still regrets buying that transmutation table. Self-made curio bag with 9 slots holding any item category, active anywhere on her person. 81 haste torches cost 1200 points, quite a reach. But the angel ring drops to just 100 mod points. It grants complete immunity to fall damage alongside slightly faster flight. She optimizes constant flight speed from 0 to 20 meters per second, with acceleration hitting Mach 5, drawing 1 million energy matter currency per second. Her new curio bag costs a baseline of 900 mod points. Each extra slot adds 100, so 9 is perfect. Outside, darkness falls. The entire world turns pitch black. An enemy siege now would be incredibly dangerous. She takes the basic 10-point enchanted golden apple and optimizes it further. She pumps 10 trillion currency in, raising absorption and resistance to 1000. Plus fire resistance, night vision for 5 minutes, and 1000 regeneration. Regen is useless with resetting shields, but level 1000 resistance is amazing. It blocks anything under 2000 hearts of damage per second, perfect safety. She also adds a permanent half-heart health boost for every single bite. This jumps the price to 1010 because real health is the ultimate shield. Only 335 points left. She prioritizes lighting. Mining tools, building wands, and eternal totems of undying must wait. Her netherite alloy sword handles combat easily, making lighting her top priority. The super torch costs 10 points, offering adjustable intensity and light range. It holds 50 digits of energy, drawing power based on active radius. It outputs light level 15, a uniform shine that never fades with distance. Using her 30-digit reserve, lighting up a 6 billion kilometer solar system would last nearly 100 billion years. Talk about being incredibly bright. She sets up regular and ultimate crafting tables to put it together. She crafts everything, lining up 81 universal slots to prepare her build. She slots the angel ring. Instantly, flight feels utterly weightless and strange. She drifts effortlessly, glad that motion sickness is not a thing here. She grows an apple tree, chops it down, and gathers over 100 apples. Plenty of food for Minecraft survival. Eating one apple, she takes flight. Landing on the roof, she sets a 1,000-meter radius at light level 10. Dumps 20 digits of energy inside and lets the massive beacon burn. Right on cue, the swarm begins. One look at the wall and she completely freezes. Slender, twisted humanoid shapes are gathered at the wall. They look bizarre. Some are made of sharp, angular purple crystals, glinting in the dark. They are jet black, decorated with flowing blue and gold light, as if energy were coursing through them, looking like both cold metal and translucent crystal. With glowing black and red orbs for heads, he recognizes them as remnants, meaning the gods stole these monsters from Zenless. Zone 0 to populate this survival space. He lets out a wicked chuckle and flies right over them. They hammer the wall, the humanoid ionized Nasria. Gathering ether clusters to fire, while their Todia dive underground and erupt. Back up to strike, it is all just kicking up dust. Some Nasria notice him and fire ether bullets, but he rises a few meters a second while chewing. On Apple's 0 health lost, he finds that almost insulting. He drops down 2 meters above them, sword in his right hand, and unleashes a wide sweep. One swing knocks back every remnant nearby, their corpses turning to ether energy, and within 10 seconds dozens become over 100 cosmic coins. He rises high to survey the area, stacking night vision and super torches, and wait till you see the desert thousands of meters out. So this is a monster siege. No wonder a simple stone shelter can handle it. Why remnants, though? They are remnants, questioning if the gods were just too lazy to design original monsters. He tells the system to please end the novice screening and stop playing games. The group chat lights up. Fenrir-like Kion dumps 3 battered iron armors, 6 intact ones, 5 damaged steel claws, and 30 more basic and black iron pieces. Worth around 1,000 mod points. Ivy follows by uploading goblin clubs. And he tells her all goblins are mere clay chickens before a dark elf's magic. Jivana shares 17 damaged holy crosses, 23 damaged paladin armors, 18 damaged paladin bardings, and 37 basics. He salutes Sister now for smashing the hypocrites. Meow contributes low-quality green bronze, 3 plague warrior hooks and 4 hammers, explaining that the enemies actually started fighting each other before even reaching her traps. Only one was left barely breathing when she arrived, making him gasp at her absurd luck. Seriously, how does she do it? He offers to duplicate their basic supplies, and Meow asks if he can copy treasure chests. His eyes light up, and he says he can try. She immediately drops her golden lucky treasure chest in. The transmutation table reports that items with tags cannot be learned, so he prices an optimized table version that learns tagged items for 81 super torches, but the system rejects it as too expensive. He tells the group he is unable to. Jivana laughs. They're both cute, adding most gods cannot copy chests either, but she suggests Meow let him duplicate her favorite fish once she catches and cooks it, and he promises to copy it exactly. He runs the remaining loot through transmutation, gaining 4,396 mod points, making him suddenly rich. The transmutation table ring torches at 1,000 mod points floor price, enables mental transmutation. Without panels, the optimized building ring takes 81 transmutation table rings. Places blocks at will by thought, any shape or type up to 64 trillion per. Cast linked to transmutation inventory, costing 100 per because pushing the cap. Detonates into the 10,000s. Now any mental blueprint can drop a space base. Dragon slaying cannon instantly. The optimized eternal totem of undying, 81. Building rings pays each resurrection in energy matter currency, base 1,000. Since the value was 17 digits, he inflates functions while holding the base, and it revives him at 1 health for 10 billion energy matter currency, clearing pre-death buffs. Grants him 2 seconds of invincibility, followed by 10 minutes of regeneration. Level 10,000, resistance 10,000, and fire resistance. He swaps absorption for resistance because his health can keep climbing, meaning percentage healing. Hits 100,000, so he waits. Modified bedrock costs 120 mod points. It is a solid dyeable block craftable with glass into transparent bedrock, or with torches into glowing bedrock. Its hardness is -1, meaning it Hardens the more it is hit. He plans to use it for his main structure. The World Breaker pickaxe from 81 bedrocks costs 10,000, so he strips its attack power efficiency and even the ability to break normal blocks, leaving only the function of breaking bedrock, which technically counts as picking it up, dropping it to 100. With 1186 points left, the Cosmic Dominion sword costs only 10,000, running an algorithm that sets health to 0 like a kill command. The pay-to-win version at 200,000 bypasses health locks but falls short of a true kill. The Niche Kaikeku sword with a kill command costs 700,000 base. Meanwhile, the Sword of Eternal Love at that same price grants creative mode invincibility by masking damage and hiding health. His path is finally clear. Combining those two with a World Breaker ring for under 2 million unlocks his own creative mode. Let's be real, who wouldn't want that? He crafts and equips everything as the panel suddenly pops up. Requirement detected. The mental power panel has unlocked early. His group gets the same notice, gaining a divine blessing that boosts mental limits by 150% times physique, alongside limited mental power potions. Shivana marvels and Fenrir Lycaon asks if he can duplicate the potion. Meanwhile, Ivy swears she will be his beast of burden in her next life if he succeeds. Meow just shrugs, saying it does not seem useful. He wonders if that scroll somehow absorbed novels from his head because Ivy's sentence structure has turned suspiciously dramatic. The potion requires cosmic coins, capped at 5 bottles per group. He buys one without checking the price, and it looks just like water in a glass bottle. Unlike weapons with differing functions between survival space and Minecraft versions, consumables like water or lava convert directly without a crafting table. He converts and gets 100 white energy matter currency, saying it can be drunk as water, dropping 400 copies into the warehouse, 100 each. Ivy declares this kindness unpayable, while Fenrir swears to perfect every cultivation technique tonight. Shivana says he is truly the creator god's devout believer, owing him a huge favor. Meow strings several meows into a thank you. He waves it off as a team effort, and everyone goes quiet with their bottles. The panel finally details a 380 physique with a question mark, agility 10 with a question mark, and strength 10 with a question mark. Mental power is 7, against the human average of 3 to 5, and his limit is physique times 350%. There is no question mark reasonable since his body's limits are massive, but his brain is what it is. The panel only appeared after he equipped the transmutation table ring and building ring. Both search speed and the absolute precision, complexity, and sealing of placement are gated entirely by mental power. Search works fine for 100 items, but placement caps at a massive dirt hut per cast, or a standard mob grinder. A mental power of 7 translates to 7 frames per second. The potion boosts it by 10 with no side effects. He chugs them to a cap of 1335. His mind clears instantly, solving everything. Though this stat isn't raw intelligence, it completely governs memory and imagination. Now he can instantly memorize any scene with absolute focus, replaying and rearranging it instantly like a photographic memory. He can even design 3-dimensional builds and easily drop them through his ring. This mental boost finally unlocks his memory of the chain mining ring, which ignores block types and destroys whatever his mind targets. Scaling with his mental power, it costs 100 points, equivalent to 21 digits of energy matter currency. Unbelievable. No more pickaxes are needed. For any tough block, he just places a torch, and the chain shatters it completely, consuming barely any hunger. With nothing left to do tonight, he decides to sleep. His master bedroom features a soft, comfortable bed over 2 meters wide. Since his sudden death, it has been barely 20 hours, less than a day, yet everything has changed. Talk about a massive upgrade. He is basically a god in almost every aspect. His attack power is low, but he is functionally immortal unless someone bypasses his totem invincibility check, disables his skills, wipes his hard-earned currency, or destroys the totem in his inventory. Fear creeps back. Could these incredible Steve abilities just be some god's joke? He dismisses the worry. Still, he cannot sleep. Though he isn't tired, he wants to rest. After tossing, he designs a normal sleep function, a basic trait that should have cost 0 points. If he already had it, 10 points down. He sits, then gets up to places crafting table, making a classic 1 by 2 meter Minecraft bed. With simple white sheets and no quilt, he lies down, closing his eyes. He feels absolutely nothing. When he opens them again, dawn has arrived. The sky tremors bring the daily update, but his chest churns with dread. He spends the 10 points anyway, no matter how powerful he gets. He just wants to live like a human. Breakfast is simple. Just bread and water, but he promises to eat 3 meals a day. It keeps him human. Choking down bread, he plans the day. Extreme heat and extreme cold. Today's weather challenge sounds absolutely terrifying. Daylight temperatures will spike to 90 degrees Celsius in 1 hour, holding for 2. By sunset, it plunges to -180 in 2 hours. Holding for 4, his senses are normal, but this won't hurt him. Still, extreme heat might catch him on fire, and he has no intention of adding a body temperature mod. That is too risky. Today is all about building inside his secure survival space. He conjures a max-level table and enchants a silk touch pickaxe. He forgot to teach the transmutation ring enchantment learning, but that is fine. An advanced enchanting mod can be bought later. This tool collects grass blocks and then it is dead weight. He flies into the desert, placing a torch to map his target before shattering it completely. A bowl-shaped void opens instantly, but the unsupported sand does not float. It pours down with gravity while dropped items float up, showing how Minecraft physics only bend at the very edges. He had wanted to chain destroy all the sand and expand the floating oasis, but he will work around these rules. He flies back. Beside the shelter, plants a torch, adjusts the range and shape, breaks it, then bulk. Places grass blocks on the lower ground, making the villa's old foundation vanish. As the building drops a few centimeters before catching on the grass, then he sets the torch, focuses, and a heavy thud fills his vision with dropped items falling at a constant speed. Soon the desert outside the boundary forms a perfect hemisphere. And he does not know if Minecraft characteristics keep external matter from falling in or if survival space rejects outside resources, but the only thing remaining in the entire space is the floating villa island and the dropped items at the bottom. A mild compulsion sends him down to circle and collect them. Sand totaling over 200 million blocks, suggesting a space radius of around 460 meters. He converts the sand and flies back, Jivana said. Monsters come from outside, so he sets up a shield, easy since the boundary already prevents placing blocks outside. He lays transparent bedrock across the interface, a glass layer over the boundary, and since he can choose block angles freely, even simple cubes cover the surface. Plus, it never gets dirty and remains invisible without close inspection. This shield should easily block monster attacks. Considering his netherite alloy sword deals 8 points of damage, that can one-shot low-level remnants with tens of thousands of health, meaning everyone shares these exact Minecraft mechanics, or rather, everyone gets completely assimilated. The health display ring costs 10 mod points, showing health and incoming damage. Right after buying it, he sees the mod panel gained a recycling function, deleting existing mods, deactivating items, and returning 1/10 of the purchase price. Not very useful. Recycling his chain reaction and transmutation table gets him a few dozen mod points back, better than nothing. This must be his divine gift strengthening again today. Talk about luck, right? Still, he dares not ask. Maybe tomorrow it strengthens again since the novice screening lasts 3 days. His demands are modest. 1 free mod daily would do. Just as he moves to expand the Sky Island, Jivana messages him with info. In exchange for some help, he tells her to skip the formalities and ask, and she explains today's challenge is rough on her raised animals and plants. Since she lacks cooling or heating methods, he is amused, having assumed everyone else was a massive big shot. He designs thermostat glass for 10 mod points, keeping it at 26 degrees Celsius while conducting heat normally, then pays another 10 since mod items cannot synthesize into official survival space. Recognized items without paying matching points. 20 points does not even hurt anymore. The description states that the thermostat glass ignores gravity, holding 26 degrees. With extremely strong alignment and absorption, its placement is completely final since it cannot be retrieved without special means only. Breaking if shattered, the maker line mentions a redacted god. He drops 1,000 into the warehouse, telling the group to take some. Meow gushes with happy meows about building a nest with it. Ivy and Fenrir decline politely, but Jivana heaps praise on him, admitting her intel cannot fully pay him back. He says mutual aid is the point, so she promises to share everything. Her crucial info covers upcoming tasks, plus the rewards. She assumes everyone noticed tonight's monsters resemble creatures from famous films. They stem from post-apocalyptic worlds, wildly dangerous settings. Once the sun sets tonight, they finally earn shelter building rights. When the sun rises tomorrow, each survival space unlocks a secret domain. The other side connects directly to those monsters' dangerous home worlds. Specifically, it connects to the world closest to their memories. Then the survival space enters its very first dangerous season. They must gain powerful abilities to protect their shelters. She hints at occasional events before suddenly cutting her explanation short. She has reached her limit. Now everyone must prepare immediately. As the others discuss this, he thanks her and falls deep into thought. He can travel to Zenless Zone 0 tomorrow, which is absolutely massive. Her unfinished sentences are the real point, leaving the others to guess. He easily figures the whole thing out himself. Monster sieges will strike occasionally during the season, ending with one massive final onslaught. The gods are terrible at building systems. It is far from perfect. Only the season's duration remains a mystery, but he isn't worried. Zenless Zone 0 abilities and trading should net him 10,000 points. Nothing from that world can bypass his defensive totem or his cosmic sword. Is Zenless Zone 0 even truly post-apocalyptic? He wonders. It is basically new Eridu, especially around the rugged outer ring area. Even that wasteland has plenty of resources beyond basic survival needs. He remembers frantically farming wheat and wood just to build his villa. Abundant resources, pressing crisis, that is the exact vibe. Sitting by his rooftop torch, he weighs whether to expand the space. Massive builds seem hopeless, though a giant dragon crosses his mind. He drops the idea since his blueprint should arrive by evening. Sky Island will do. Before his sudden death, he had zero ambitions. Now extraordinary abilities finally give him both drive and opportunity. Unknown challenges motivate him. He looks up, the sun is visibly larger. The god's crude temperature trick is laughably simple, almost pathetic. He stretches lazily, letting the warm sunlight pull him into a comfortable doze. To maximize this nap, he spends 100 points on an auto-eating apple ring. Enchanted golden apples burn through him, while others struggle to survive. A massive werewolf sunbathes nearby, fully sprawled out under the intense heat. In a demon cave, a pure white elf blasts dark magic at goblins. She must hurry immediately before the heat drains her maximum mental energy. Elsewhere, a dark-clad woman with a long tail traps radiant holy creatures. She drives them mad with heat until a massive golden dragon lunges. With a sharp cry, the beast attacks. Her tail instantly spears its skull. Black-red poison stains the beast dark, shrinking its whales into a tiny orb. The orb vanishes between her brows as she sighs for a tougher challenge. Meanwhile, in another space, the pink cat girl paddled around clumsily in her pond where panicking fish swam right into her mouth, melting on contact. Larger ones were carried in her jaws to a glass nest, while she realized that at least she had not lost them all. Once her luck went up, she would spend a whole day fishing. Not every smart creature survives here since the beginner. System does not filter for brains, so brainless brutes muscle their way through. While clever but physically weak creatures end up dying. By evening, the chat shows 360 survivors out of 1,000, higher than expected, but the trial has already wiped out 2/3 of all smart creatures. The sun sets, the sky shivers, and a brief message appears. A shelter core will form in each zone's center. Survivors have to claim it to unlock their unique blueprints. The core can be moved to safety, but if shattered, it destroys the entire zone and exiles everyone to the void. Honestly, exile does not sound too scary. The void cannot be that dangerous when simple building blocks and an enchanted golden apple make void damage a joke. Still, he will protect it. A purple crystal appears near his villa, the core condensing safely away from his main build. He flies over, grabs it, and spots 2 crystals sitting in his hotbar. The first is a blank shelter core, the second is his Minecraft world key, which is also empty. Since touching it should unlock his blueprint, this key must be the secret. Advanced glasses cost 10,000 mod points, which is too expensive, but a cheaper version for just these 2 costs 10, so he crafts it. The description warns that breaking the core collapses the space, adding that carrying it in his inventory might make it get lost, which amuses him. The Minecraft world key is called useless in survival mode, but watch this, he converts it into a portal. To his Minecraft world, an endless sandbox, the gateway will vanish the moment. He steps inside, warning him that the survival system won't work in there. To get back, he needs to buy a teleportation monument mod first, and the other side might be totally empty. Endless space, perfect. He slides the core into his inventory, then trades the key for a teleportation monument and a warp ring for 100 mod points. He adds a customization option. For later, places a basic monument in his yard, ignores the ugly villa, and steps through the portal. The world rules screen pops up, showing 24 hours a day. Normal crop growth, active monsters, and block damage from explosions. It is basically vanilla Minecraft with chunk loading, with day lengths being the only major tweak. 10,000 mod points would let him permanently rewrite any rule. He looks up and the sight scares him into flying straight up. This world is literally just a single block of grass. Luckily, his items are safe and his EMC still ticks. Without it, this would be impossible. First, he needs his farm. His budget only allows for tens of billions of colored bedrock blocks, which is not enough for the long run. He needs to craft a power flower bonsai pot instead. After recycling some basic recipes, he grabs the ultimate upgraded bonsai pot. It takes 81 chain links, a 23-digit cost, but produces a 47-digit output every second. The basic model needs 24,000 seconds to pay off. But the ultimate takes only 2, since only the spawn chunk stays loaded. The farm goes directly underneath, since haste torches require solid blocks within a 4-meter radius. Stacking things multiplicatively, the maximized layout has one central pot with as many torches as possible. He conjures a solid black bedrock cube 11 blocks on it side with the center pot catching nearly 2,000 haste torches. The EMC reads 1197, works. He drops a teleportation monument, teleports to the villa courtyard, confirms his EMC is growing, and dismantles the backyard emerald farm, accepting that the villa can be demolished later. He posts that everyone should tell him when they are ready for their secret dimensions, since he can hand out special items. Ivy replies with a hopeful picture, saying she spent the day fighting goblins, sending over 236 clubs and 179 other items. He thanks her, then purchases the enchanted golden apple conversion recipe for 10 mod points, giving them away. Just eating one of these apples permanently boosts constitution by 1 and temporarily by 4,000, plus granting extreme recovery, fire immunity, and 5 minutes of night vision with 0 curse, making them completely safe. The description calls it a creation of the asterisk symbol gods. Authority, he converts a standard milk bucket into a 200 milliliter plastic bottle. He deposits 40 apples and 40 bottles into his system storage, telling everyone they are family, 10 each, balance 78.90. The legendary cosmic sword is next. He wants it. Ivy promises to clear her dungeon by dawn. He tells her not to rush. Vina says the friend assistance function should open soon, hoping to thank him in person. The cat and werewolf are likely sleep. Back in the Minecraft world, the spawn area gets a majestic teleportation hall, the starting point and default entry of this world. A towering temple rises, one hall inside features a centered teleportation monument, edited to look like a massive Steve standing in a proud pose. The pixelated block figure looks rough but imposing. He steps sun rising. As a pureblood Korean and hardcore Minecraft player, what is engraved in his DNA is farming. Farmland costs just 1 mod point, otherwise unobtainable but cheap. He buys a villager spawn ring for 10 mod points. Zombie villagers, then grinding potions to 170,000. But with agility stuck at 10 with a question mark, he cannot drink quickly. Each bottle gives only 10 constitution. Drinking tens of thousands of bottles means a repetitive buy, drink, and sell loop. 2 hours of pain, super farmland technique. Every 9x9 plot gets a centered water block, a torch below, and a composter above, making wheat mature instantly. With villager huts placed right beside, he repeats this tens of blocks in every direction, making them identical. The view from his temple is almost entirely gold. Then he begins placing villagers. He watches the first spawn, perfectly vanilla, square and dim with a big nose, locking eyes before sensing its nearby job site. Walking to the composter with its head twisted backward to stare at him until it cannot turn any further. Green light particles bleed off as a square straw hat appears from nothing. He keeps placing them, ensuring every single house has a composter. Since some villagers always break the system, then grinds his agility bottles next, taking another hour. He builds nearly 1 million hectares of farmland, with tens of millions villagers making the view completely gold. Underground, he lays over 100 layers of stone beneath 3 or 4 layers of dirt, capped with bedrock, since this world has no maximum or minimum height. He plants a tree directly south of the temple. Viewed from the entrance, it boasts a true world tree presence. Its canopy hanging over the roof, everyone has finally gathered their apples and milk buckets and thanked him. Dawn is breaking, and Ivy's second batch of sword is ready. He spends 13,760 mod points and teleports back. The sky screen shivers, almost waiting for it. It is just like Zavinia. This portal brings both reward and challenge. If every single member of a species inside a hidden zone dies, the core shatters too. That is a direct threat to his weak spot. 10,000 points by the weapon. A dark sword settles into his grip like a starry sky, flowing along the blade, scattering starlight with each swing. Right where the shelter core stood, a blue diamond crystal now floats, softly glowing. This is the first dimension core, a special item that opens a portal to another world. He can select his timeline upon opening it, allowing him to stay in a past timeline for up to 24 hours, with time flowing equally in both worlds. He hopes the past means the fall of the old capital, since that era could help him fix a stack of regrets. He does not care about the time flow. This is only the first season anyway. He triggers the core, opening a rift like a dark hollow. The truth is clear, it leads straight inside. He shuts it off, teleports to the Minecraft world, finds the portal active, and opens the rift next to the Steve monument, adapting the aesthetic to match his surroundings. The 1-meter circle becomes a 2x3 rectangle, and the round mist turns into blocky square particles. He shifts it up by 1 block and rings it in obsidian, changing his nether portal completely. Now on the other side of the temple, he builds a matching nether portal to restore symmetry. Now it is time to initiate Zenless Zone 0. The author adds a quick heads up. This is based on game lore. Any controversial details will follow the rules of this book, as the author restores the originals while avoiding official lore changes. He selects the past. His vision goes dark, then clears. On towering skyscrapers, crowds, and a rising sun, all these people are still alive. He asks a passerby if this is New Eridu, and the young man tells him he must be from the outer ring. He says Shin Eridu rolls off the tongue, but there is no Shin in the actual name. The guy completely misses his dark joke, since New Eridu is not as obvious as World War II. It is before the fall of the old capital, though exact timing is unclear. Since the portal landed here, the disaster must be less than 3 days away. If every human here goes extinct, his shelter core will shatter. This is probably a welcome difficulty discount, since pure humans are rare in New Eridu and threats are everywhere. He does not plan to stop the fall or change the main plot because power levels are not very high, but conspiracies run incredibly deep. The eulogy society watches closely, seemingly trying to bring down the progenitor in order to remake the world. The faces behind the 4 major AIs are completely unknown. Even the mayor of New Eridu has his own calculations, and the siblings' mysterious teacher, Faux-Colors, or rather Carlos, is shrouded in mystery, later collaborating with the society to investigate Hollow Zero. Still, the society might not be pure evil, since although Hollow Zero erupted during their gathering, there is absolutely no evidence directly linking them to the disaster. Perhaps their progenitor also wants to save and remake the world, just using slightly dark powers. Now he studies the mod, which he thought was just playing the game inside Minecraft, but actually means literally. He plays Zenless Zone 0. The mod has 3 functions. First, everything in Zenless Zone 0 is treated as a Minecraft block, needing no conversion. So he cannot harvest special items for mod points. To earn them, he follows local custom and builds bonds via the trust system. 5 levels, each of the Phaethon siblings is worth 1,000. Agents give 500, important supporting characters give 100, common citizens give nothing. This trust represents actual trust, unlike the game where it acted as affection. He is not a 6th Street succubus building a mixed-gender harem, so trust is the easier. Highlight is the Zenless Zone 0 necklace, which once bonded gives the wearer an exclusive account playable after finding a medium. The game is heavily stripped, featuring no main or side quests. Quests must be cleared in reality by the wearer before appearing in-game. The map is explored in person, but Stamina is retained, so resources and characters can be developed. Yes. Developed, the mod keeps monetization, gacha, and character growth, the three greatest inventions in history. The real utility is that for every agent. Trust hits level 3, the necklace spawns a subsidiary agent ring, and an agent wearing one can resonate with the owner to activate the Zenless zone. Domain combat inside transforms into game mode, more details for those who know. He spots a ramen shop, not a store chiepis, but the chef is a robot and looks more advanced. With no currency and gold a bad pay method, he buys a mini map mod marks the spot and handles currency first. Alistair is peaceful. Official forces stably harvest the hollows, tunnel robbers and rope masters are extremely rare with those titles not yet existing, so unknown gold at a bank would invite trouble. He glances at the mini-map with hostile creatures, neutral creatures, other creatures, non-player characters, supporting characters, agents and Phaethon all on distinct icons. His target is the Phaethon siblings. The necklaces bind only to him, so he will farm trust and hand one to Bell. As for Wise, who even is that? Their teacher is a senior researcher, definitely loaded with pocket money. The Minerva district is one of Alistair's two most prosperous areas and home to the Helios Agency, and only when close does he remember the young siblings are members, orphans raised as students and experimental subjects, so well-equipped they rarely go out. He buys a skin swap mod, swaps the Steve outfit for a white lab coat, adds gold-rimmed glasses and a balding with long curls hairstyle, and tells the door guards he is looking for researcher Carlos. The officers see a brilliantly bald man in a white coat as if he stepped straight from a lab, leading him into the visitor's room without suspicion and vow that they will notify her. Shockingly smooth, no one bothers a senior researcher for nothing. Ether aptitude enhancement potion costs 10 mod points. World-shattering ring is 1000. Ultimate crafting table ring 10. He plants a mini teleportation waypoint on the table, pops back to the Minecraft world, drops a crafting table, synthesizes all three, and returns with the loading shaving close. To a second off his disappearance, he activates the world-shattering ring and punches the waypoint barehanded to break and reclaim it. The potion is part of Zenless Zone 0 submod, so no extra mod points for a conversion recipe, and since seeing the siblings now is hard, this potion is the new path into cash, since begging a stranger for a coin to feed his transmutation table is beneath him. Transmutation table is beneath his station. In Zenless Zone 0, physical adaptability to ether is innate and nearly impossible to improve. The rare few born with an ether adaptive constitution can survive the hollows longer and fight using ether to some extent, even awakening special abilities. For instance, Vivian sees the future while Ida Healy sees the past, but the Phaethon siblings' origins remain unknown. Rumored to be orphans from the old capital, their adaptability is so high it survives the HDD system side effects that normally ruin adaptability, yet they used it to escape the Hollow Zero that consumed the old capital. The mayor of New Eridu upgraded that HDD 11 years later, restoring them. Its origin is completely unknown. The Helios Agency would absolutely care, especially Carlos, who treats Phaethon like her own family. The door opens, and a capable woman in a lab coat sits opposite him, asking if he wanted to see her. He pulls out the potion, directly explaining that it improves ether adaptability. Carlos instantly notices the bottle materializing from thin air, which gets her attention. He tells her he researched it himself, is short on funds, and wants to sell a few bottles, but the formula is not for sale. She asks to test it, only half believing him because of his nerdy homebody scientist hairstyle. He tells her sure, but it will cost her 3 bottles max. She returns in minutes, confirms it is real, and demands 2 more. While telling him to name his price, he thinks of a new Eridu villa where housing runs $1 billion per square meter and tells her 800 billion. She agrees instantly, which completely stuns him. Talk about lowballing yourself, her calm face gives nothing away. He adds another condition: she must register a legal Alistair identity for a friend of his from the outer ring, transferring the money to that account. She says it is no problem, and they will notify the Public Security Bureau. She looks forward to their next deal, offering her right hand. He walks out, still slightly dazed. The officer points to the bureau branch across the street and tells him any branch can handle it, so he switches to his classic outfit and walks a few blocks to a different branch. Photo, name, and weight. When they ask for his name, he hesitates. the survival space warned him that his name must stay secret since many future attacks target a person through their name, a name. Concealment ring costs 10,000 mod points, hiding his name and causal connections. Bit too pricey. Instead, he grabs a random name modification ring for 1,000, which randomly changes his name every 10 to the negative 58th seconds, with each name having more than 10 to the 76 sounds, meaning he has no clue what his name actually is, which is the whole point. He walks out with his new citizen card and a bank card. The front displays his name, photo, citizen number, and an address listed as Helios Agency over a blurred aerial view. The back bears the bureau emblem and issue date. He buys a cheap phone and SIM card, no messaging apps. Yet only classic text messages. A text arrives from a 135 number, Carlos telling him this is her personal mobile and she looks forward to their next deal. She had checked his identity while testing the potion, but did not care. That makes sense, since the outer ring is full of hidden, talented survivors. Next, he waits for the fall of Alistair, which honestly sounds like a straight-up villain line. First, he hits Mark Ramen Shop to order the most expensive bowl, black beef ramen for 7,000 currency. He orders 2 extra spicy portions, opting for the largest bowl size. One is destined for his transmutation table. Meanwhile, the robot cheerfully confirms the order, telling him to swipe and wait 5 minutes, over a dozen. Mechanical arms work chaotically without colliding. He swipes and pulls out his phone, the latest ether-powered Alistair model boasting massive compute power and battery life. Built with heavy impact resistance but offering almost no apps or games, this Alistair Life app provides basic news, forums, and search, so he looks up details on currency. They are stable ether crystals similar to gear coins, non-eroding, appearing inside hollows or dropping directly from defeated remnants. However, gear coins are incredibly rare and cannot leave a hollow. Ether values in currency coins can vary by hundreds of millions of times, while gear coins stay almost entirely uniform. Stable ether also serves as Alistair's primary power source, explaining why it became standard money. Constant hollow disasters bleed off supply, preventing rapid inflation. Once the authorities officially defined each coin's value, transactions shifted online. Massive, high-density coins like 100 million currency are rare enough to command dozens or even hundreds of times their energy value, so a 114,514 coin exists, worth collecting. The chef hands him the first extra spicy bowl, promising the second is coming soon. He takes a bite, absolutely delicious, but peace never lasts long in this world. Nearby chatter cuts through as a customer asks if anyone knows what happened at the Limbo Hollow. He remembers Limbo as Hollow Zero's predecessor. Another companion dismisses the idea, claiming it won't erupt twice. This place sits right next to the core area, and the bosses are desperate to wipe it. If anything happens, he'll eat dirt then. He trails off, staring blankly. Puzzled, his friend asks what. He snaps back, telling him to eat ramen, then shrieks to run. A black and purple curtain instantly engulfs everything. Stung and utterly helpless, they're swallowed up. Historically, the Limbo Hollow swallowed Minerva and Pluto districts during its historic second eruption. Blaring street speakers announce that a catastrophic second eruption is underway, warning that all non-combat personnel must evacuate before descending into static, drowned by heavy ether erosion or warped space. A civilian screams that this is impossible. He's trapped in Minerva district. Another tells him to run. The terrified man laughs bitterly, saying fleeing is useless since his own ether aptitude is basically zero, raising his mutated arm, where dark crystals are already spreading, urging his companion to leave before he turns into a monster he can't defeat. The companion sighs and walks out. The instant he steps outside, he just vanishes. Space is highly volatile during this rapid expansion, with spatial rifts tearing open and closing instantly, leading outside or directly into a horde of horrific remnants. The trapped man wishes him luck and looks behind him. 2 others are rapidly transforming into beasts, alongside one person who seems completely unaffected, which deeply puzzles him. He shouts over, asking why he isn't running. Meanwhile, our hero is just staring at Level 3 erosion warning on his status screen, barely comprehending it, so he casually replies that he is just waiting for his second bowl of ramen. The man smiles, perhaps realizing his own time is short, and explains that Master Rip has shut down, which temporarily delays symptoms. If someone drags the chef out, the robot might survive, wishing he had the strength to save him. he warns him not to eat the ramen because regular food lacks any protection against severe ether erosion. The erosion makes everything feel like chewing broken glass, but the hero stays calm. The customer mutters that he possesses real strength and exceptional ether aptitude, as his voice slurs, crystals cover his body. Shatters the furniture. Where he stood, a monstrous apeca now stands, its fluctuation accelerating the corruption of the other customers. The newly mutated apeca attacks first, spitting liquefied ether. Its neck glows yellow, meaning it cannot even charge its attack. The rest are weaklings, so he does not dodge. With his netherite armor easily blocks every attack. He has no interest in killing them, but they should pray they never cross him again. Setting down a small teleportation monument, he snatches the struggling monster. By its core flying out, he finds a lucky satyr to test. The cosmic dominion's sword, and the instant the blade connects, the creature it vanishes, dropping only gold experience orbs. He sets the monster down, splashing a weakness potion and using an enchanted golden apple. His divine gift from the third day now has the power to enhance game modifications. This creates an upgraded zombie cure, capable of turning any mutated remnant back into a human instantly. The monster shudders, bones clicking. As it changes, the recovery takes only 2 seconds, giving him plenty of time to carry it to an exit rift. His mini-map displays every single portal. He flies out with the cured survivor. Dropping him near a crowd, he leaves his fate to luck. Real heroism in new Eriadu only brings trouble, and since he is self-interested, this was just an experiment. To test his new gear, teleporting back, he retrieves the monument and wipes out the attacking monsters. Cold remnants are easily converted into warm experience points. If anyone questions why he killed them, he has a counter question. 5 seconds have passed. So how can anyone prove these are the same exact creatures? Meanwhile, Hashimi Miyabi, Faye Ethane and Yi Jiang are active. The Hollow holds over 12 agent lights. Since Alistair is the sole city facing a hollow disaster, every elite is gathered here, though they will all be gone very soon. He buys an invisibility ring, activates it and flies up. By avoiding the rifts, the interior looks just like normal ground. He already purchased an introduction to ether erosion. The item description says level 3, indicates an extremely volatile ether environment, making some creatures feel pretty uncomfortable. It reads like a joke written by some translator. His easiest target is a white giant hand appearing from thin air, revealing Faith On's location without needing his mini-map. Is the primordial really in a rush to capture Carlos? Could this be true love? It is highly shippable. Remaining invisible, he tracks them from above, watching the gray-haired Faith On running alongside a red-scarfed Bamboo and purple-haired Ling with tears in their eyes. They fight to honor their teacher's final wish. The system tracks the monsters ahead, prompting the siblings to take a detour with caution. That is far too slow for a rescue. He drops his invisibility right before them. Faith On throws his arm out, eyes locking onto the stranger with dark hair and blue short sleeves and purple jeans. The traveler asks where Carlos is, knowing the answer, and his vigilance folds into grief, matching Ling's expression. He tells them he is Carlos's friend, who will not be defeated so easily, promising to guide them to safety first. A portable bubble ring costs 1,000 mod points, but they have already paid him 3,000. The bubble blooms around them and he picks the nearest Fisher on his minimap and flies with it trailing. 2 seconds later, they are outside. He sets them down and Faith On studies him, clearly wondering why his teacher never mentioned him. He points them toward the crowd, ruffling their hair. Since at 14 or 15 they are small enough, and slips a necklace over Ling's head, telling her that since her brother has a bamboo, this one is hers. The dark gemstone holds black and white in a 3-dimensional pattern, the white forming 3 connected ZS when flattened, and the moment it settles on Ling, it binds to her, a soft white flash turning the silver white the same deep purple as her hair. Even Ling, who clearly knows a great deal, lets out a small wow. Ling calls after him with "Goodbye, mister," and he almost wobbles midair because he is only 5 or 6 years older than Faith On, and by the time he leaves this point in time, he will be 5 or 6 years younger, all because he named himself Carlos's friend. He tells himself it must be the mature look. Decides 7,000 mod points is fair and forgives them. Behind him, Ling realizes belatedly they never asked the mister his name. Hashimi Miyabi is more urgent than Yixing Huang, and the Xingjian family is easy to pin on the Map, her tiny figure is already out of the sea of fire, swinging a cursed sword. And reaping remnants, Madame Xingjian's survival barely touches the storyline. But he wants to give Miyabi a kinder childhood, so he crunches an enchanted golden apple and flies into the largest building. Inside the fire, he finds a kimono-clad body, and a corpse is harder to fix than a remnant, but he throws some instant health potions at her anyway, the original code level 255 kind, either. She has not fully died, or the vanilla main character does not understand the word corpse, but the wound through her heart seals shut. Noak slews off the ether crystals. Second instant health wakes her, and he tells her she would not want her daughter to live as a machine, letting her answer trail off. He drops her outside the hollow without fetching Miyabi because her father is on the way, with that unsealed cursed sword. Only the butcher of the dead end could escape Miyabi, and she has not grown into the fox that moves at 200 yards per hour. The minimap flags every remnant. If any agent crosses paths with the butcher, he will know in time. His minimap covers all of Alistair. The question is Adam, the legendary soul Mercury level remnant and prime suspect for the Limbo's expansion. He has no interest in killing it, only curiosity, and if he cannot find it, he will not look harder. Hovering above one agent cursor, he struggles. A woman in researchers' clothes clutches her daughter in panic, while a man in the same coat injects vial after vial, snarling that the corruption is still too fast. Their hair is octopus tentacles. The girl has tentacles from her tailbone. Ida Healy, he never sold this family medicine because the Blackwater base is brutal to reach, and her role is critical. She materializes the past, finds teacher clues for the faith on siblings, and contacts Sora, but watching her swallow unstable serum. On the edge of death, his plan falls apart. To hell with the main storyline. He has the Cosmic Dominion sword. He did not transmigrate to watch the plot unfold. An Ida Healy-like constitution, low intelligence puppet, costs 1,000 mod points. Steady Steve drops his invisibility and lands. He tells them to stop, promising to send them out safely, telling the two octopus hollows to trust him. He was not going to wait for an answer anyway. The bubble carries them out in 3 seconds, and he hands the mother a bottle of Noak for the corruption. Love drowns curiosity. They feed it to the girl. Her face loosens and the crystals fall off, but when the mother looks up, only his back is visible, flying back in. He still needs to drop the puppet in the outer ring where Pompey can find it. Its intelligence is roughly a 2-year-old's. No hiding, no lying, but it's physical strength as a main character puppet is unscientific, and it needs no food. Kind, bold Pompey will protect and use it until Sora tricks or kidnaps it away. Either way, Ida Healy's parents live, and without much ether resistance enhancement serum, she gets no awakening. This likely costs her future combat power and any chance of being a rope master, but she likely prefers her parents alive. The next target is not urgent. No agent cursors remain, which means Xiaoyu has left. Hollow Zero's formation splits into 2 periods, divided by the detonation of the Shiyu Towers, and only 2 or 3 hours have passed, so he hopes management has not moved that fast. Then the sky-high flames and blue-purple ether filling the air remind him this management is power-hungry, not business-oriented. The Shiyu Towers store immense ether energy, originally the city's heart, and once the hollow swallows them, that stockpile becomes a nursery for remnants and fuel for further expansion. 14 connected towers detonate in sequence, killing untold numbers and tearing a massive rift across nearly all of Hollow Zero, and since the rift contains no ether corruptible material, the hollow almost stops there, but it is a flood, and if blocked here, it grows elsewhere. He hovers, waiting for the dust to settle. The rift is a hideous scar, but the wound belongs to Alistair. The prosperity of Alistair and New Eridu alike is paper, humans, Hollowkin, and robots only struggling in the cracks of the hollow. In 2 hours, anyone with poor ether tolerance has turned remnant or died, but even under rotten management, this 2-dimensional world is still made of truth, goodness, and beauty. 3 agent cursors enter in succession. Defense Force Lyra Squad got a rescue mission without reinforcements, leaving only Trigger, blinded but alive. Defense Force Agamemnon Squad officially escorted civilians, but in practice covered officials saving corporate assets. Only Isolde and Orpheus survive, both pulled out by Yijiang. Yanking Mountain, a sect of traditional national style, comes down the mountain when disaster strikes, but Hollow Zero is no ordinary disaster, and they are nearly wiped out before Yijiang seals the Source of ether corruption. The overuse of the Kingaming sword cost her all 5 senses and her memories, and with her last strength, she seals the sword while her residual consciousness becomes a Kingaming bird that stays at Yixuan's side. The sword seems to keep the consciousness of its past masters. New. Eridu's upper management later blames every sacrificed hero for ineffective action, and the public only learns this because the survivors became agents, clearly. Trigger barely touches the main plot, so he saves him. Isolde is a future bishop of the Eulogy Society. Save her, he reigns. He slips inside, deciding to just nudge Isolde towards seeing the managements. Rot, since their crises take time, he patrols, calling for Adam like a child. Playing hide and seek, yelling for him to come out and let Eve see him. Hall. Zero is not fully formed yet, with plenty of copper-level remnants and above wandering around. Then it hits him, the pieces are set, he can start making trouble. The Hollow Hunter is out of reach, but leaving a legend of him fits a block man perfectly. The air block placement ring costs 100 mod points. The force chain placement ring costs 1,000, with a note that chain-placed blocks can replace substances of hardness below 50. The block man look costs 10 mod points, criminally cheap. His body shifts into a block man, large pixels. Blatantly out of place in this realistic Zenless Zone Zero world, but nothing feels uncomfortable, and he is still just as agile. The character panel mirrors this new image, with pixel skin paler than his animated self, black hair and glowing white captivating eyes. He tests the sound. Audio is normal, but the face pixels do not move, so he decides not to speak like this. The vibe is too good to ruin. The ether erosion source sits near the dead center of Hollow Zero. Remnants swarming and evolving around it. The block man flies up, stopping in the sky above. Ordinary people are running, while the middle class saves people. The wealthy are saving their money. No one notices the towering figure. Overhead, he raises his right hand, and without a tremor, a giant sword appears from thin air, its hilt vanishing in the clouds, a black and red blade, laced with golden patterns, falling into Hollow Zero like divine punishment. Voices below cry out, half in awe and half terrified of a new crisis. Word spreads that the Hollow has stopped expanding, and the survivors accept it without question, insisting that the gods save them, choosing to push the grief aside to thank that unknown existence. In the crowd, Belle clutches her necklace as Wise watches the sword, though they have never seen him do this. They feel the connection. Outside, others like the Phaethon siblings have guessed something and quietly pray. Inside, a Defense Force squad left to cover the retreat is pinned. Every ether round punches a remnant's core, but the monsters do not stop. A Thanatos tears their formation, wounds spreading, and one member binds himself to serve as the rear guard. Isolde frowns into the distance, where visibility in the old capital is awful, and remnants slide from every corner. She orders a breakthrough with absolutely no one left behind. Her calculations always return casualties, so looking at those young, resolute faces, she resolves to be the one to sacrifice herself. Then, a white light streaks in, sweeping every remnant clean in a second. What remains is a mature woman with long white hair tied in a ponytail, her glow dissipating, body swaying. Isolde supports her, asking if Sect Master Yijung is all right. Knowing this woman is one of Alistair's top combatants, Yijung says she is fine. Flicker of confusion in her eyes. Another figure rushes in on talismans, calling for her sister, and Yijung tells Yixuan to stay calm and look for anyone else who needs help. Yixuan reports that, counting these survivors, they saved 7 Defense Force squads, more than civilians, and the remaining squad lowers their heads in shame. Yijung gently taps Yixuan's forehead, telling her not to. She accepts this since they are both doing their duty, then looks toward the dark depths. The giant sword is faintly visible, ignoring every rift, as she tells Yixuan to lead the squad out while she investigates, but Yixuan insists on going. So Yijung uses her authority as both sect master and older sister, telling her to obey because the sword's origin is completely unknown, gripping her Kingaming sword. She heads inside. Yixuan can only plead for her sister to return safely. Yijung simply waves, leaving a heroic silhouette behind. The wounded squad follows Yixuan toward a rift, but she glances back to see blinding sword light filling the sky. In black stone writhing, she screams for them to run, throws a talisman and runs back toward the center. The Agamemnon squad can only pray. When Yixuan reaches the depths, all that remains is the sealed Kingaming sword, standing alone in the Shattered ruins, a cyan black sparrow perches beside it, tilting its head to watch. She asks if it is her sister. Meanwhile, he finds a corner seat in a tavern and orders a glass of each of the 5 most popular drinks. A crowd huddles around a central table where a drunk slurs his story, telling them how he watched her get slowly covered in ether crystals until she turned into a remnant monster. He protests that he felt his own life was pointless once she was gone and wanted her to end him, but a Defense Force bullet took her out in one shot. Another drunk sneers, asking what good marksmanship was when they all got fired anyway. The owner places 5 bottles on his table. The drunk explains that at least 100 officers were fired just for surviving while covering the chaotic retreat. He proudly declares he is one of them, adding that they actually got off easy, since they can find other work, but he reveals Yinque Mountain was expelled from the protected territory because Yijiang died, and command declared her completely ineffective in action. The room bursts out laughing at the absurd declaration, and he slurs that it is like saying their own father was born a eunuch. The tavern erupts again. The owner peeks outside and quickly ducks back, warning that the security force is here. The drunks immediately quiet down, and soon 2 officers walk in. The older of the 2 asks if anyone is unregistered, while his younger partner picks a fight with a quiet drunk for staring, complaining loudly about the useless trash around. He turns and asks if he has registered, so he hands over his Alistair resident identification. The rookie sneers, noting he is from the Helios agency that caused the hollow, but the older officer barks at him to shut up. The rookie is incredibly outraged by this than the hollow itself, shouting that his own father has never raised a voice at him. He shoots the older officer a puzzled look and taps his temple. The older man chuckles helplessly, explaining that the kid's father is the deputy director of their branch. Returning the card, he suggests he should swap it for a new one soon. The arrogant rookie still threatens to make sure he never finds a job. They finally leave, a dog barking at the older man's heels. And once the door closes, the entire tavern erupts into its loudest laughter yet. Who exactly were they laughing at? He orders another round of the 5 bottles to go. Old cards no longer work, only hard coin, so he pulls currency from his transmutation table. It is early morning, just 2 hours after Hollow Zero ceased expanding, in Alistair's southwest, on what remains of the old. In the capital, basic order has finally settled. The tavern crowd is lucky. Countless people have nowhere to live, with weeping echoing everywhere. No restaurant is open. With everything finally sorted out, he gladly heads straight back to his block world to start building. He drops a metallic teleportation beacon by the roadside, shaped like a hollow greatsword. Then he teleports away. When he returns, 11 years will have already passed. These beacons are placed deep inside Hollow Zero and the outer ring for easy travel. No mystic portal is as convenient. That greatsword shape acts as a landmark. Stepping out of his temple, he greets the quiet early morning air. The villagers are asleep, but monsters wander the fields because he forgot to place torches. The netherite alloy golem costs 100 mod points, quite a heavy price. It is not super strong, but it shrugs off minor damage and hunts creepers actively. Hunting endermen, too, since he has pumpkin seeds, he keeps the original style. Time to summon. His classic iron golem holds a special place for players. After all, most of the iron in any survival world comes from their sacrifice. These massive defenders clear out the monsters fast, but then he spots the mess. Loot is scattered everywhere, and his obsessive-compulsive nature absolutely cannot accept this chaos. He won't pick them up one by one, and besides, global lighting ruins the game's classic style. His eyes land on the villager houses. Get ready, because things are about to get crazy. Villager Optimization mod costs 1,000 points, adding combat roles and inventory. They get decent intelligence, letting them use tools and craft. Profession changes are based on the local market and available job blocks. That is way cheaper than the 10,000 points he originally expected. Next, animation optimization costs just 100, making every movement look incredibly smooth. He also gets sodium for 100 points to revamp the entire lighting engine. A high-fidelity texture pack costs another 100. Honestly, both are just too good to skip. But sodium alone isn't enough. He absolutely needs a shader pack too. Combining a 64x faithful texture pack creates the perfect, classic aesthetic he loves. The blocky sun climbs, casting beautiful beams of light across the fields. He sits on the steps, just watching the sun rise in peace. But first, he buys an automatic potion drinking ring for 100 mod points. The price is slightly inflated, but the pure convenience makes it completely worth it. Otherwise, he would waste 3 or 4 hours daily chugging potions to maintain his focus. With that solved, he can finally enjoy this beautiful sunrise in absolute peace. Pure peace, a rare moment of leisure as big-nosed villagers stare at him. Their giant square eyes blink blankly, oozing complete simple-mindedness. It makes him wonder. He seriously doubts if these guys possess even a shred of average intelligence. Suddenly, a green-robed villager struts over proudly. Squinting his crossed eyes, he quickly accesses a local butcher's trade screen. The startled butcher accidentally produces an emerald, and the green-robed scammer grabs it. He bolts off laughing. The poor butcher is left holding rotten meat. Soon, the other villagers begin eyeing their neighbors with sheer mischief. The farmers in straw hats are the worst, turning the village into absolute chaos. Several poor targets are cornered, their trade windows forcefully pried open. They get scammed, forced to trade precious emeralds for cheap wheat. Some are wiped out entirely, kneeling in the dirt in absolute tragic despair. Glowing light particles bloom from their bodies, their energy is fully restored. The precious emerald is gone, completely lost. Now right and wrong no longer matter. Bring the wheat, the leveled-up farmer grabs his crops to seek some payback. He demands the gem back from anyone nearby, no excuses. But these farmers keep getting blocked, tripping over ridges just a single pixel too high. Surrounded by chuckling brutes, they can only shake their heads in pure frustration. Conscience awakening in this feudal world, hopeless, but with a mental power. Exceeding 200,000, the player knows these villagers do not understand their own mechanics. Once they realize trading tables refresh daily or upon leveling up, they might stop hoarding. Unless they are just greedy misers, but that makes no sense. In theory, they have infinite emeralds, except for those green robes. The player plants a few more job blocks in the farmhouses, then stops worrying. Planting trees can wait. He selects the teleportation spell for the greatsword account. Zenless Zone 0, Initiate. The moment he arrives, the voices start. Phaethon is busy pitching videotapes. Nekomia cuts in to stop them. She knows they are Phaethon, and she has a major commission for a rope master. The two old foxes nearing 30 will not show their cards. Belle rolls her eyes. She asks if peanut sauce is peanut butter, suggesting a trip to the convenience store. Nekomia tells them to wait. Her name is Nekomia, and Nicole sent her. She is not a bad person, but Belle keeps playing completely dumb. She clarifies she means Nicole from the Cunning Rabbit House, head of the Odd Job Agency. She pulls out Emlyn, presenting the little bamboo as a token of absolute trust. After some commotion, Phaethon accepts her identity. Nicole's team is in trouble. He wants to help, but first they must fully understand the situation. He explains that exporting visual data without the owner's permission is highly difficult. It will require the Marshall Group. Fortunately, Wise remembers their newest member. Fairy claims to be an advanced artificial intelligence capable of hacking almost anything. Accessing a bamboo should be easy, but Nekomia mishears the name as furry. She panics, wondering if Phaethon is a closet furry enthusiast. Belle denies it. No such thing exists here. She asks Fairy to extract the bamboo's internal data. Fairy's massive, sparkling blue eyes appear on the screen, asking for confirmation. Does she want to convert the bamboo's visual records into a video? Nekomia is confused. She asks who is talking, and Belle calmly explains it is their new computer assistant. Fairy starts searching the files from the last few days, but with a catch. She demands Belle admit she is stupid and should have asked her sooner. Belle refuses, telling Fairy not to be smug. Wise watches them bicker with a faint smile, knowing Fairy can at least add some fun to their serious rope masterwork. Though the AI still cannot compete with another presence in their lives, Fairy has exported Emlyn's visual information, but watching it in full is impossible. Nicole cannot wait. Skimming the footage, Belle latches onto Nekomia's cute habits, specifically adding meow to her speech, which she has not done in the store. Nekomia cringes, wondering why watching herself acting cute is so incredibly embarrassing. Belle asks if the act is fake, but Nekomia insists all cat thyerns talk like this. Meow, why won't Belle just drop it? They exchange a quick look, agreeing. She has issues, but the rescue comes first. Fairy steps in with good. Grim news, the train carrying the bomb is about to depart, and Nicole and the Blossom will soon be ash. Fairy proposes intercepting the train inside the hollow. The plan passes with Steve responsible for taking Eyes in. Belle stops Eyes, picks it up and secretly slides 3 rings into its storage slot, telling it to stay. Safe, Eyes hums and pats its round chest, signaling to leave everything to him. Leave, Wise asks his sister if they are using that thing. Belle says only as insurance since it is a dead-end hollow, and the trust level of everyone in the cunning rabbit house has reached level 3, so if not now then when, Wise agrees. Belle wonders if her Max Cinnamon Nicole will get a chance to act today. Wise connects to Eyes through the HDD, while Belle plugs the controller in and sits on the sofa, expectant. The necklace at her throat lets out a faint light. The TV goes dark, and a cursor with the same pattern appears. ZZZ. Of course, Belle hammers the controller to skip the opening while Wise smiles, preparing to connect, saying Max Cinnamon Nicole would certainly be extremely useful. Strange yet somewhat familiar voice sounds beside them. Belle jumps to her feet. Wise stands up sharply as Steve greets them, saying long time no see. Belle drops from alert to stunned, and Wise relaxes a notch, though confusion still grips him. The doorman Bamboo 006 looks like the sky is falling, fearing it will lose its job for letting Steve in, who tells them not to call him uncle. His name is Steve, and when Belle asks if it is really him, he shoots back. It must be a fake. Talk about a mind-blowing reunion. They trade looks, completely speechless because they always believed Steve was alive, just like they believe their teacher is. Steve teases them about the slow detective plan they had been running. Belle laughs sheepishly, while Steve ruffles her purple hair, telling her that her teacher's case is like that, but his is special. Wise opens his mouth, but Steve points at the HDD and reminds him his customer is impatient, and he syncs with Eyes, the screen mirroring what Eyes sees as a cat paw keeps patting the Bamboo's visual collection system. Wise lifts Eyes' short arm and reports he is here, telling Nekomata to stop hitting, marveling that the connection finally went through, blaming Phaethon's lag and saying they should proceed since the road mobs are easy for her. With nothing to do, Belle looks Steve over, asking why he hasn't changed after 11 years, even his clothes. Steve tells her he was only 5 years older then, and on his side it has only been 10 hours. The full truth is impossible, and lying is too much trouble, so he gives the higher form of 9 truths and 1 lie, telling what is true while leaving gaps for the listener to fill in. Both shout in disbelief, and Belle cannot tell if Steve is joking, so he tells her the figurine on their checkout counter is the anchor point for his arrival, leaving her 90% convinced. She explains its history. The miniature sealed sword caused a stir and new Incred 2 years ago, unbreakable and impervious. Its price was once in the trillions of won. A research group bought it, made no progress, and it got stolen and resold higher, and the cycle repeated until the price collapsed to a few $100,000 purely for collector value. So Phaethon set it on the counter beside the lucky cat, and it drew extra customers. Steve notes it is the same model as the sealed sword that ended the hollow disaster, and Belle says the seller called the design a bit evil, with its body fully light-absorbing black. Golden runic patterns seal the dark, chaotic energy away, and Steve firmly tells her to focus. Right on the screen, Phaethon is about to have his very first encounter with Victoria Housekeeping, a clear nod to The Shining. Bored, Steve picks up the controller to show this launch day veteran how to properly manage an account. The screen displays Belle standing before the system after the monthly card activates, and those commissions remind him of someone, so he calls Fairy. A massive blue eye flashes on the screen, announcing its presence to the customer. Steve asks if Belle and Wise ever trained it to only answer to them. Fairy responds in a cold, robotic voice that previous dialogue patterns indicate this user is fully cleared. Steve then asks if Fairy can easily hack the database, but Fairy claims the command was already given by the second assistant. Running this hack is just like playing a simple video clip. Steve nods. This mod only needs a basic carrier. He could easily upgrade to direct neural control or holograms using points, but that takes away the raw fun of playing an action game. Instead, he adjusted the settings to bring back classic retro grid walking, giving Belle the absolute most authentic experience, but looking through her character screen, he feels a sudden wave of guilt for trapping her like this. She can only summon agents she has worked with. She must have logged in right after Wise booted up Fairy and collapsed, especially since this feature unlocks only after the first act, just 2 or 3 days ago. He can easily imagine her staring in awe organizing her partner list, and then spending real money like crazy. Her banner page shows special featured channels for Nicole, Billy, and Anby, all at rank A. With 87 days left, there is a standard option and a special bamboo channel offering S rank a million. The standard pulls yield an S. Vouchers guaranteeing a high rarity pull. However, these vouchers can still trigger a standard pity break. Belle has 11 vouchers left and her level is 32 with membership at 207 days and bonuses cleared. That equals 648,000, 10 times the average account, meaning Phaethon has an incredibly greedy sister to feed. He checks her pulls and get ready. Finds she only pulled 180 times for 30 purples and 4 golds. He wonders if she has a luck boost, another 250 pulls. On standard got 7 golds and 52 purples, fully refining all her A rank. Engines to maximum level. When he asks Fairy if it manipulated the drop rates, the AI denies it, suggesting he should question the officially published probabilities instead. Her agent list is average, but she farmed decent A-rank drive discs with good stats, leaving him with no real advice to give. She flops onto the couch, calling him old man. When he reminds her that his actual name is Steve, she sighs that it is too formal and not intimate enough. He suggests using his code name him. She repeats the name, asking if it has a special meaning, and he explains it is just a simple pronoun. For a guy, she decides only true experts would get it, finding the name pretty cool. Meanwhile, a solitary Wise guided by Fairy escorts car in out and rushes after the explosive-laden train. Belle asks how much he really knows about the game, and he points out that her necklace is his own creation, even if the actual game is not. Both siblings are completely stunned by this sudden revelation that the developer is sitting right there. Belle marvels that he built it all. He smugly responds that it is just opening a domain, which is incredibly easy to mod. He could even add a Minecraft feature that knocks back monsters whenever Steve hits them, trapping every remnant in a corner and beating them barehanded while stacking attack range and forcing a minimum of 1 health deduction per hit until even the legendary Atom would crumble. Belle's eyes light up with pure mischief as she announces that with just extreme evasion, she would be completely invincible under heaven, sending Nicole to solo Hollow Zero. That scheming look is so unlike her that he suspects some neighbor has possessed her. He immediately lays out the limits. Extreme evasion only triggers twice during heavy remnant attacks or lasts 6 seconds. Assist points run out, and instant attacks from an unfamiliar boss are completely undefendable, and when she doubles down with a Plague Boo, he adds long range lock-ons and one-shot mechanics to heavy monsters. Seeing she will not give up, he takes back the necklace, its ownership reverting as it lands warm in his hand, and applies a strengthening mod for her upcoming tower climb. She slips it back on, totally surprised at the speed, and restarts the game as a mission cursor pops up to guide her into starting the simulated hardcore trial. Wise just stares at his gaming-addicted sister and falls into a long silence. While they wait for Nekomata, Wise walks Belle through the recent events, and she nods, realizing they must wait for Nekomata to get clear answers. Wise sighs in exhaustion, noting that Belle's current training is definitely boosting their combat power. Fairy then reports the keyword Wongyang Industry has been retrieved, and a news report reveals they are postponing the demolition until tomorrow night for technical reasons, even though their escort personnel have been beaten up 7 times already by Nekomata. Belle declares there is something fishy going on with both Wongyang Industry and Nekomata, claiming she has hit the nail right on the head, leaving Wise completely speechless. God closed a door on his sister, but fortunately opened a window for Fairy. Little Yu chats with Emily in their cute bamboo speech, making him want to learn the language too. Fairy suggests reviewing the rest of Emily's visual data, and Belle immediately agrees. Poor Emily is pressed onto the sofa mid-conversation, hacked, and suddenly loses consciousness. Just then, a knock comes at the door and he lets Nekomata inside. She blinks, asking who he is, and Wise says he is trustworthy, which he doubts. According to his mod's rating, Wise's trust for him is level 3, and Belle's is 4. 3 means a guarded friend, while 4 is family with 0 defenses. Level 5 is the absolute peak, even if they cut you with a knife. Your first thought is that a mosquito landed on you, and they simply forgot to lower the blade. Catching her breath, Nekomata says her tracker only locates a distant exit, and the thugs likely drove off with the car. Despite the postponement, with Nicole and the others still in danger, Belle warns her that rescuing those residents will mean clashing with Wang Yang, and Nekomata's gaze hardens, determined only on rescue. Soon, the four return to the studio, where they lay out a simple, practical plan. His own thoughts run close to Bell's wanting to send Nicole one-on-one against the butcher, the easiest boss, but even a radical Bell would reject that risky move anyway. So he decides not to intervene. After Nekomata heads out, he offers to bring back lunch. Bell orders black bowl tonkatsu ramen while wise. He asks if Steve has enough cash, calling him that before quickly catching himself. Steve assures him that he does. Soon, he reaches Master Cho's ramen shop on 6th Street. The street is quite a bit larger than in the game, stretching 200 to 300 meters long. All card payments have completely vanished in New Eridu now. This shift is driven by collapsed trust in big banks. Plus, the work of rope masters and tunnel robbers has shifted entirely to the gray market. It is treated as almost legitimate, provided they do not enter hollows in front of security. Still, the brass remains highly interested in legendary rope masters. Like Phaethon, this gray market has generated massive illegal funds. This money cannot be deposited openly, especially on 6th Street, a place where dangerous experts reside. Steve packs his ramen and heads back. After a quick lunch, he goes on a treasure hunt along 6th Street. He spots Turbine Fronts, a repair shop secretly doing illegal modifications. Legally, only the Marcel Group can modify them, but Steve wants his own. A custom bamboo mod sounds perfect. Then there is Barge Stylus, a record shop. Under the counter, they sell drive discs to power up combat gear. These work just like the game box. Down the street sits a trendy toy store. They secretly sell sound engines at the end, right by the coffee shops. Alongside these boosts, a general store occasionally sells rare bamboo plugins. Nearby sits the Owl newsstand, run by a very sleepy husky. The dedicated shopkeeper actually sleeps right inside the shop at night. Finally, there is the legal Golden Finger game store, where legendary masters gather. Steve decides to settle in here, noting down a few local shops up for sale. He heads back to study the domain, running into Belle at the entrance. She calls him Uncle Steve and drags him into the back room. But get this, their entire plan has hit a major, unexpected snag. The tracks are blown, meaning Nekoma cannot risk putting all eggs in one basket. They must take down the butcher of the dead end to clear the road. Only then can they safely evacuate the civilians. Steve asks if it is time. Is it time to launch Zenless Zone Zero? Belle snaps her fingers, beaming. With her incredible skills, a clean, deathless run is practically guaranteed. Steve agrees. Butcher has highly predictable moves, keeping actual danger to an absolute minimum. As long as they stay alive, they take no real-world damage. She grabs her controller and tells Wise to hand out the rings. The cunning rabbit house and a Wise-possessed Ayaz look down at the open arena. Nicole stands with her hand on her hip, questioning if the boss is even here. She feels quite confident with her modified briefcase, backed by Billy and Anby. Nicole asks the rope master if this special ring is truly a reliable trump card. She slides it onto her thumb. It shrinks to fit, and she marvels at the tech. The core is a dark gem containing what looks like a shifting currency symbol. It changes at different angles, though she wonders why the band is dark blue. Anby and Billy slip theirs on, looking pleased with their cool new gear. One features twin guns, while the other shows a blade wrapped in electricity. Wise says they can keep these gifts. They will understand their function very soon. Anby flatly remarks that handing out rings before a battle is a classic death flag. Tension fills the room. Billy is spooked, but Wise tries to calm everyone. He reassures them, and Nicole tells the rope master to stop jinxing and keep moving. The moment the rings go on, the TV screen flickers and displays a new symbol. A unique icon appears for each agent, with gray meaning no ring, while white means wearing one outside. It shows vitals are intact outside, yellow means they are inside a hollow, and red means injured. Or even critical. For any active state, she can select an agent to watch right away. She observes them to communicate, their ring glowing faintly as they prepare to fight. The ring flashes purple in combat, allowing either side to launch the special domain. One launch is enough. Forced closing requires mutual agreement. During a forced shutdown, health reverts to physical status, meaning low health equals near death. Nod of satisfaction at the flexibility, Belle opens Nicole's feed and watches closely. Minor monsters sense the looming battle and flee. Dense ether condenses into freezing rain. Droplets fall without wetting clothes. Corruption accelerates. Nicole asks if Ambi sensed the butcher's aura. Ambi calls it his theme. Like in movies, the villain's music plays first. Billy rushes forward. Waving his dual pistols, he brags about finding the ultimate law of victory from a popular show. It is from the Star Emblem Knight series. He glides into a moonwalk shouting instructions. Use a finishing flying kick immediately and end the fight within 10 seconds. That way, the boss theme never even plays, while he continues to mimic moves without noticing the giant axe. Ambi rushes forward silently, blocking the massive blade with her weapon. The massive impact knocks Billy flat. He sputters that his prediction was completely predicted. Ambi calls him an idiot, saying he almost got the ending theme within 10 seconds. In the video store, Belle asks if there is some kind of bug since the domain launched. Yet the cunning rabbit house is moving totally normally, and the observer explains that this is a cutscene. The camera perspective has shifted, but the original plot remains. This lets the players easily recognize the world they are currently playing in. Look closely at the distance. The ruined shopping mall of New Oriju stands under a dark sky. A headless giant Xing Tian figure stands on the roof. The butcher reappears 20 meters away, yanks up his axe, and roars with power. Ether vibrates with his roar. Belle's instincts scream that the battle is starting. She yells out Zenless Zone 0 launch. The screen flashes. It is the team setup page. Billy's voice asks what is happening to his body. His sensory system is gone, and a new prompt labels him active. Nicole demands that the ropemaster explain what is going on. Ambi watches calmly. Ambi notes the boss theme was cut off. Belle explains proudly. This is their brand new weapon, so they must wait while she checks the tutorial. Nicole protests that checking it mid-boss is a joke, but Billy cheers. Ambi remarks that gamifying reality is a classic trope. Wise admits they are new to this. They are using it for the very first time. Hearing his voice double, Belle turns. She turns in surprise. The HDD now matches the TV screen perfectly, but Wise reports a different screen. He sees a Bangbu tutorial, since that unit was meant for him. The automated Bangbu was wisest to control. Belle breezes through the guide quickly. Once the battle begins, she can let agents act freely or take direct control. Switching characters and calling in ultimate support are actions reserved for her. Backline agents will immediately retreat after their quick assist strikes. The agent inside the domain offers trial options regardless of ranks. Starting with 0 constellations and average stats, own trials inherit their full Mindscape Cinema levels. That means their Mindscape Cinema and refinement levels carry over. Time even stops here during team formation and battle cleanup. Intruding enemies get queued up next. Every outsider looking in cannot even see this domain, so even if they witness Nicole's soloing Adam, they will only assume she is some badass hollow hunter. Plus, ordinary people nearby are completely safe under absolute invincibility, Belle tells the squad to let her take control. Nicole admits this is pretty weird, but nods along. Ambi calmly remarks that their magical rope master truly possesses mystical powers. While Billy adds that he cannot wait to jump in, real-world combat has 0 balance, which usually forces a level 32 newbie rope master to fight a level 65 butcher. But these trial characters are level 55, completely outclassing her 2.5 days of practice. And with her maxed constellations inherited, the damage is seriously impressive. She selects every trial, including Bangbu Emily Ann, then locks the team to start the battle. A familiar Billy close-up greets her. Except this is her first real encounter, and these characters are no longer just video game pixels. Billy cheers with absolute excitement, while Ambi compares it to watching a movie. The massive butcher stretches and roars, but Belle is already firing away. With Billy from a distance, Billy shouts about how awesome infinite ammo feels. The butcher stomps closer, flashes bright yellow, and leaps. Belle quickly swaps characters just as Billy unleashes his enhanced special. Ambi slides in with a slick ultimate support, landing rapid basic attacks to build days. Billy fully benefits from the extra critical rate of his 4th constellation from this distance. Meanwhile, Ambi lands 4 basic attacks to trigger her 1st constellation. The butcher flashes yellow. Again, Belle decides against switching and presses the enhanced special button. The electric blade missing during invincibility frames. She chains a quick thunderbolt onto the butcher. The monster recovers, flashing yellow again. Belle switches out and Nicole enters the fray, blocking the massive axe with her briefcase. She squeals then realizes her briefcase is fine, thanks to double parry the second strike. Parries automatically, the butcher then hurls the axe behind. It's back as dark ether gathers, Nicole shreds defense and Belle switches to Billy, whose enhanced special finishes just as the heavy axe comes. Back with no yellow warning, luckily Belle dodges just in time, talk about close. She is celebrating her reflexes when she sees the butcher gathering ether near the axe. Her heart skips at a combo, she spams dodge but Billy is just entering his crouching shooting stance startup animation, a muffled blast hits him but he laughs it off. Belle apologizes for not expecting that combo since the hit took a quarter of his health. After the defense reduction wears off, the butcher's daze bar is almost full. Belle quickly dashes with Billy to trigger his first constellation, restoring vital energy. She swaps to Nicole to charge her special attack and stack her 6th constellation. As the yellow warning reappears, Nicole shreds defense while Anby enters with a perfect ultimate support, instantly following up with an enhanced special to trigger daze. Time slows as the chain attack screen appears. First up is Billy, spraying bullets everywhere and shouting at the boss to catch these bullets fly. Next is Nicole, finishing neat and tidy, while the third attack is cancelled. Nicole's chain attack triggers Billy's quick assist, sending him crouching and shooting. Meanwhile, Wise unleashes massive damage while working the heavy dual barrel Gatling. The volume hits 3,000 decibels as every fighter brings their best, offering 1,000 each. As a starter boss, this butcher has a rough day ahead. Belle reapplies the defense debuff, swaps back to Billy, and unleashes his devastating ultimate. This completely drains the butcher's first health bar, making Nicole wonder if it is over. Belle warns of a second phase, and after a quick reminder, Billy fires from afar to reload. Anby notes movie villains always get a powerful second phase. Nicole welcomes the challenge, promising another glorious victory for their group. Ether condenses heavily right behind the terrifying butcher of the dead end. 2 extra arms sprout from its sides as Anby whispers that movies were actually right. You never take damage during a transformation, but Nicole tells her otherwise. Do not trust the movies, she says. The rope master treats this fight like a game. Billy argues the Star Emblem Knight would have finished this with a flying kick. Belle interrupts to ask if bad guys ever actually try to attack during the sequence. Billy stammers back that his favorite hero possesses an absolute, unbeatable domain. But a voice suddenly cuts in, asking why he does not bait the boss's attack. Then negate it completely inside that space. Billy is far too rattled to notice. He misses the strange voice entirely, though Nicole immediately questions who just spoke. The butcher finishes its transformation, howling at the sky as Belle commands focus. Save the questions for later, she warns, as a laser sweeps from the boss's spine. Billy dodges twice with perfect precision and keeps firing, then the beast leaps up. Striking without warning, Belle dodges, swaps to Nicole, and charges up a special attack. A bright yellow warning flashes. Anby slides in with a perfect ultimate support block. Stopping the four-armed embrace, she chains basic strikes directly into Nicole's heavy support. A quick strike applies another defense debuff, and Billy returns with his extra special. He loudly complains that the enemy is attacking much faster than before. The yellow warning flashes again, and with 1 support point left, things get predictable. She triggers Anby's ultimate support to block 3 consecutive heavy hits. Releasing the counter-assault, she spots another yellow light, but can only watch. She silently apologizes because the attack recovery has too much delay to cancel. Anby takes 1 heavy claw hit, but dodges the other 2, reassuring her leader. Villains always change their patterns, and Billy adds that they will still lose eventually. Thanks to the Star Emblem Knight, Belle pulls Anby back and swaps Billy in, launching their high-octane combo, utilizing his second constellation upgrade. He can dodge instantly while crouching and firing, which fits her plan perfectly. A relentless showcase of perfect dodges mixed with constant gunfire begins. With 0 support points, every warning flashes red, but Belle guides Billy flawlessly. Evading slams and quick strikes alike, this second phase brings extreme aggression. Without any active debuffs, Billy's damage drops hard, but his teammates step up. Nicole tells the rope master not to worry, since victories require some sacrifice. Belle answers that she is simply analyzing the boss, waiting for the perfect opening. She challenges the boss directly. Seeing the next red flash, she spots a single-hit move. With massive recovery lag, Billy pulls off a perfect dodge, letting Nicole charge her attack. Special and basic attacks trigger Billy's quick assist, letting him land another extra special. Another red flash and Billy dodges. Ambi steps in as continuous red attacks flash. Ambi pulls off a perfect dodge counter, taking the next hit with invincibility frames. She lands 3 basic strikes, followed by a final extra special attack. A sudden lightning strike dazes the butcher, immediately triggering a powerful chain attack. Billy boasts that his bullets have eyes, while Nicole tells him to behave himself. The debuff is reapplied. Billy chains his quick assist into 2 extra specials. The recoil drifts him back. Nicole reapplies the debuff, and Billy unleashes his ultimate. His star emblem shines brightly as the enemy's health bar is left almost empty. Ignoring her protests, Belle switches to Nicole and holds the special attack button. She rotates the joystick in a full circle, triggering a secret Easter egg. Ether gathers at her briefcase muzzle. Nicole plants it firmly on the ground. She sits right on it, covering her ears while telling everyone to get down. An explosion erupts, emptying the bar as the screen freezes in black and white. A massive yellow whiteout ends the battle, giving Nicole a wide-armed close-up. The dazed butcher gets its own close-up, and a long shot seals the victory. An S rank appears, and Billy scores 1725 on the results. He wins Most Valuable Player and B1369. Nicole demands 30 while Billy begs. He wants new engine oil. Nicole promises next time while B makes a remark. His burger can wait too. Billy whines that even B refuses to back him up. Belle calls them to order. As the domain shuts down, she sighs with relief. That was a fierce battle, her very first real-life fight, keeping her heart racing. There are no restarts. Wise monitors the screens while the Overseer speaks to Belle. He tells her not to feel down, reminding her she only took 2 hits. He suggests she climb the tower to find new remnants while he watches her brother. She thanks him and he can't help but smile behind the scenes. With only the cunning Hare's team, she will surely fail against Hugin. Her 2-dodge chain won't survive 3 red attacks and a yellow without Jane. And this isn't any ordinary tower. The Overseer has completely optimized it. He turned it into an unlimited battle trial where only a flawless run counts. A clean run yields a proof of glory, but the real challenge starts soon. From the 11th floor onward, sneak attacks will land without any warning flashes. Good luck, Belle. On Wise's side, Nicole contacts Beicha Heavy Industry. They treat dirt on their mortal enemy with the utmost seriousness. She leads the canvas alley residents back along the newly cleared road. They defeated the butcher incredibly fast, and Nekamiya waits right outside. Before she can finish her introduction, loud shouting erupts. Protesters accuse Vision Corporation of treating human lives like cheap grass. The angry crowd refuses to be silenced, freezing both Nekamiya and Sora. Sora claims their escape proves their skill, but warns they are outnumbered. She orders her men to fire, but loud sirens suddenly drown her out. A loud reporter suddenly announces the breaking scandal to the public. Her indignant voice makes her an instant, legendary sensation. The Public Security Bureau surrounds them while Beicha Heavy Industry arrives. A helicopter sweeps down, and the tense incident finally comes to an end. Sora escapes while Nekomata gets invited to join the cunning hares and is. Thinking it over, hers is the most normal background here, considering Anby is a Hollow Zero test subject, while Billy is a high firepower regional suppression unit with high intelligence, possibly the Star Emblem Knight prototype. As night falls, the hares head over to the Public Security Bureau, and Wise shuts down the system. Belle invites him to the buffet and suggests he consider a new Eridu residency since Nicole has connections. He tells her he registered as a survivor back then. Wise notes his origins, abilities, and power are totally mysterious, yet he moves freely through Hollow Zero. As the older brother, Wise keeps a shred of wariness. While Nicole's statement plays, Belle asks if he can block Fairy. He says it is simple, pulling out a shielding field ring. Rated at 1000 mod points, which blocks external information gathering inside the zone on a causal basis. It drains energy based on size and stores about a year of power. He gives them each one, and Belle activates hers, a transparent semicircular film 2 meters across, wraps them. She gasps that this is time stop technology. He tells her a true time stop would freeze electromagnetic waves into absolute darkness, so this is just similar, useful for teleportation, not to be used except in an emergency. Wise's mouth twitches at the 1-year duration. He adds the flaw thought control, since if an enemy controls their mind and drains the ring, it becomes Useless, both siblings privately realize that meeting a mind controller without strong teammates makes the ring the least of their worries. Bell asks what happened. To him back then, he spins a story 9 parts true and 1 part lie. After sending them out, he went looking for their teacher, circled Limbo Hollow, and could not find her or any remnants above bronze rank, since the progenitor must have feared meeting people like Yajang, taking Carlos to another Hollow instead, so he never saw the legendary atom. He saved some special people, headed to the ether erosion source at Limbo's center, and sealed it. An unprecedented amount of energy was consumed. He planned to rest and return, but heard the sword wielder Yijang had sacrificed herself right next to his seal. So, even half recovered, he teleported over and landed in a new space, fearing the final battle had glitched his coordinates. He ran a diagnostic, teleported again, and ended up here, he tells them, pointing at the sealed sword figurine. After this wild story, Wise only doubts whether humanity has really grown this powerful when they cannot even solve hollow communication, yet these folks throw space and time around. Bell marvels he has arrived 11 years later. Those kids from back then are now older than he is, asking how he feels. He teasingly asks if she still remembers being older, saying it feels good since investigating Limbo Hollow's secrets takes time, and Alistair was inconvenient during rebuilding, which leaves them completely stunned by the logic of a genius scientist. He adds that seeing them grow up with such a special assistant lets him rest easy as an uncle, emphasizing that role, and Bell chuckles. After they summarize their past years and Fairy's origins, Bell drops the field, announcing dinner, and Fairy, suddenly unblocked, wonders if her system just lagged. New Eridu is built on the old capital's Janus district, where most survivors live. 6th Street is remote, so the subway takes 12 minutes to Guanyu. This plaza is already a bustling hub, showing prosperity nearly matching the old capital, just with fewer crowds. High-tech ether supplies constantly overflow. Capital being strictly off-limits, this highly interests Steve since anti-erosion food is strategic material. Phaethon explains that most of it is high-tech wizardry, utilizing rapid ether greenhouse plants and accelerated ether animals. The siblings are not surprised. He is clueless. Too many genius scientists ignore everything outside their own fields. The citizens do not mind because this ether tech easily rivals or even beats natural food in taste, with humanity on the brink having anything to eat is a blessing. 2 humans, a cat-like Hollokin, and a robot stand at the entrance. Billy hollers that the store manager has arrived. Bell reflexively tells them they did not have to wait outside, but her expression quickly sours and she asks Nicole if she expects her to pay again. Nicole immediately promises to settle debts once Vision falls, then immediately asks who he is. Bell introduces him as Steve, the brilliant inventor of their new technology, letting them know they can call him that. Nicole's eyes light up, sensing a wealthy partner. She shakes his hand and introduces herself as the boss of the Cunning Hares. He explains that as a simple researcher, he has little combat capability and will definitely need their backup. Silence. Anby merely purses her lips as if she wants to speak, but stays completely quiet. Movies, researchers claiming 0 combat skills are usually absolute monsters. Watch out. Almost everyone in this converted reality is incredibly handsome or beautiful, and that certainly holds true. Nicole stands out with her fluffy, vibrant pink hair and eyes that are adorable yet incredibly sharp. Belle quickly cuts off the networking and herds everyone inside. She gives Nicole a clean, fake identity, hinting that things are very complicated. Nicole does not press the issue, simply waving a relaxed hand, promising that his registration and 11-year disappearance will be no issue. Done. His citizen card arrives tomorrow. He lays on enough flattery to get her giggling, while Nekamiya watches them, feeling more like she just boarded a pirate ship. The meal itself is excellent, and with his cheat diet, eating is finally fun. Saturation climbs higher than hunger. Imagine that. With absolutely no limit, hunger caps at 19, and under Minecraft rules, full saturation makes hunger irrelevant, though full hunger blocks normal food at low saturation. Only golden apples beat this rule. So he can eat endlessly, no limits. Meanwhile, Billy slumps back, rubbing his belly, prompting Steve to ask if an advanced robot model like him actually eats food. Billy explains that he runs on stable ether, but as a high-tech product. He can also extract energy from food, doing it because Steve is an important partner. Steve has one final, rather strange question but decides to save it because bathroom-related. Topics right after a meal are highly inappropriate. After bidding farewell to the cunning hares, Belle worries about his living situation, but he reassures her about his secret base, pointing out that his teleportation anchor cannot remain at the main desk. Belle insists the existing figurine has already become an iconic feature, so he summons a custom teleportation stela modeled after Ilia as a new anchor. Belle marvels that it looks even cuter than the original figurine. After parting ways with Phaethon, he teleports straight back to his high-tech survival space villa, but even with thick blackout curtains drawn, sleep remains rough. There are no active siege events. He chats as him, asking around and offering item duplication. He is secretly fishing for new loot, since Zenless Zone Zero gear cannot become mod points, plus his trust farming has a cat. Nobody replies, so after resting he teleports to the Minecraft world. It is perfectly synced, even down to the green-robed villagers asleep. They go to bed early and wake up quite late. It tempts him to put on a green robe too. Nearby, the iron golem guards the village, surrounded by lush greenery he never planted. A trader, perhaps. He flies up, spots invisible potion particles, lands, and opens up trades. Dyes flowers, buckets of fish, and blue ice. Absolute garbage, but he trades one of each just to unlock them in the transmutation table, ignoring the 2 lids since the recipe for Java 1.21.6 drops slime balls, matching his items. That reminds him of something. He crafts rails and a minecart, placing them at the iron golems feet, pushing hard, but it refuses to enter. A total Java fail, even if bedrock works. He places a stone block down, holding 2 wooden pickaxes in his hotbar. He mines with one and switches to the other. The break progress does not reset. A bedrock feature. This world is a hybrid of both, so he stops testing. Any feature he wants can be bought as a mod. Next, creation. The sky brightens at 6. In the morning, almost all the villagers and kids wake up now, except the